Hello, everybody. This is Hebrew 77. And just to remind you, today is Cinco de Mayo. So sit back and relax as we begin a very special Taco Tuesday, baby. Yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Taco Tuesday. I'm your host with the most that eats tacos, Tostios. This is Hebrew 77, along with Saggy. We're going to have to give you a number, man. But anyway, yeah, he's just plain old Saggy tonight, brother, and he's got a brand new sound system. He's got brand new headphones on. Let's hear how you sound, brother.
Well, hello. I'm coming in loud and clear.
Oh yeah, man, you're clearer than you've ever been in a long time.
All right. Well, I think that's a good thing. And I have a Bluetooth headset on. We're trying it out for the first time, and we'll see if the batteries last the extent of the show. We're coming in at 90% charge, so we'll just take it as it comes. So Taco Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo style, huh?
That's right, brother. You see the background we have here.
Yeah, I know. It's making me hungry. I want to go for the Gran Fiesta.
Well, you know what? I tell you what, man. Did you know that the United States of America, that in the United States, Cinco de Mayo is bigger than it is in Mexico?
You know, it's kind of funny. I think we have kind of embraced that holiday even more so than they traditionally are known for. So, yeah, I can see how that could be the case. It basically is from beer companies promoting beer sales, I'm sure, on television during sporting events.
Yeah, that's true, man. What other countries do you know do that?
Yeah, well, there are other countries that promote beer sales during sporting events, but we're definitely at the top of the list.
I want to ask the audience real quick, which we only got 3 people watching. How does he sound, guys?
Yeah, give me on a scale, like 5 being crystal clear, loud and clear, 1 being lousy audio, 2.5 being right in the middle, okay, but not great.
I gotta tell you, you're coming in pretty loud, but I think that we're starting to get static on your end when you start talking.
You know, we are using we're using an app, then I'm using Bluetooth technology, then we're using some type of networking FaceTime technology, then we're using YouTube technology. So by the time it's all over said and done with, we're like the Brewers trying to use Martian wavelengths, you know?
Okay.
with an Earth zombie satellite.
Well, here's what I'm going to do.
All right.
I want you to mute up so there's no feedback, and I want you to not you mute up. I need to wait. How's this going to work? Hold on. Wait, how's this going to work? Just talk.
All right, I'm talking now. Are you running me through the infinite loop?
I'm trying to. I was trying to. Do you hear how you sound?
Carol Ann, come toward the light. Come toward the light, Carol Ann.
Yeah, that's kind of how you sound.
Okay.
No, either that or you sound like Radar O'Reilly getting ready to make an announcement on MASH. Maybe if you blow into the headset a couple of times, it'll work itself out.
I drew a pentagram. Maybe if I set it in the center of the pentagram for 3 hours, starting at 3 a.m. tonight, it'll make it get more like esoterically charged.
Oh, I see what you did there. Yeah.
Hold on a second. Let me. I was just kidding about the pentagram, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. Preliminal says you
It's
sound
really a hexagram. I always get those two mixed up.
so. Preliminal says you sound too loud.
Oh, okay. Well, you
Yeah,
know what? I'm about to. I flipped them around. How's that?
you still sound
Hey.
too loud. Like you're overbearing the whole broadcast.
All right. Well, let me turn off Bluetooth Naburo technology here. Hold on a second.
All right.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Oh, you sound much better, dude.
All right. Well, listen closely.
Okay.
That's me. Oh, you couldn't hear him, but that was me throwing them against the wall. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, just out of curiosity, about how much did you pay for those things, if you don't mind me asking?
You get what you pay for. They were $14.99.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I mean, sometimes you don't necessarily have to have the most expensive technology on the block. It just has to work well. And it sounds like you got something that wasn't too expensive at the same time. Doesn't seem to be working too well as far as broadcasting goes.
Yeah, I concur. But at least I have, at least I have a North Korean phone that keeps up with this Nibiru technology. So I'll just have to use it.
Oh, speaking of North Korean, have you noticed I've been making a lot of well, I haven't made a lot of them. I've probably made 2 episodes of them. MASH. I've been on a MASH kick here lately.
Yeah, I was wondering, do you eat mashed foods while watching MASH? Like, do you enjoy mashed potatoes and gravy while watching MASH?
No, but I gotta tell you, I seem to have the overwhelming urge to perform amateur surgery around the house.
I can see that. Like, like Grandpa, you're I see. I notice you got a slight lip there. Let me lay you up on this table and get a look at that knee of yours. Where's that fillet knife that we were using on our fishing trip? It's some bleach and some alcohol and some bandages. Yeah, okay, yeah, I can see that. And then your grandpa's probably like, "Get away from me, you crazy freak!"
Right. Well, I was thinking more along the lines of I'm getting better at playing the game Operation, but that worked too. Yeah.
I always hated that game. That game would piss me the heck off.
Yeah.
I'm like, nobody in their right mind would try to get this something that's the exact same size as the hole plus a set of tweezers and then pull it out. I mean, that's impossible. Whoever designed this game needs to be shot. That's what I used to tell myself.
Twice, and then worked on by an actual surgeon.
Huh?
They need to be shot twice, and then
worked on by an actual surgeon. Yeah. They need to go. They need to be sent to Wuhan to do biotech research. That's what they need to be sent to do.
Yeah, there you go. Speaking of Wuhan, is it Wuhan or Wuhan?
I think it depends on if you're from South Wuhan or North Wuhan.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, man.
It's like what side of the wet market you live on, you know?
Yeah. Well, what if you live on the side of the wet market that's dry?
Well, then you're called a dry hand.
Oh, dry.
Yeah.
Hey, what about Han? Like, like Han Solo?
Yeah. That would probably be like the west side, Wuhan, west side.
Hey, you're pretty good at that. Let's put you in the movie.
All right.
No, but I'll tell you what. I think we're going to have an extra special night here on Taco Tuesday. This is our first. I think this is the first Taco Tuesday it actually landed on Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, don't be a menace to society while getting your COVID-19 shot in the hood. You know what I mean?
I like that movie. That's a good movie.
Oh yeah, you saw it? And Jackie Chan was in it.
Oh yeah, as opposed to yeah. No, but I'll be honest with you.
All right.
We talked about this a little bit backstage, but let's ask the audience there who out there has seen This Is the End with Seth Rogen and all those cool guys.
And by all those cool guys, you mean like me and my best friends in high school when we made a VHS copy of it?
No.
Oh.
No.
It was my high school commencement speech. It was called "This Is the End."
Oh, okay. I got you. So, we got a lot to talk about. Another late night 78. But that reminds me, dude, you need like a number at the end of your name so I could say it in a cool way. Because I'm Hebro 77. You could be Saji, whatever.
It's got to be a S number, right? Saji 78.
That's too close.
70. Saji, I don't know. I'll get back to you on it.
How about Saji 76?
Well, that's kind of cool.
Be like, hello everybody, this is your host Hebro 77 along with Saji 76. Say that.
Yeah, I don't know, it sounds kind of satanic when you say it like that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, hey, you know what, another late night says that he saw the movie This Is the End, and let me tell you something, brother.
All right.
The end, they pronounce it Cinco de Mayo. And the reason, well,
Cinco,
sink
hole. Sink hole is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, sink in the hole, right?
Yeah, we're it's not easy translating this Illinois accent. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because I don't pronounce my L's.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're saying Cinco.
Oh well,
like the normal way. It sounds like you nailed it.
You know what? Only an asshole would think that, though. Just saying.
Well, I guess that makes me an asshole.
Yeah, no, man. They gave you a call number, late night 78. Oh, he's got a number at the end of his name that makes him extra cool.
I know, it's like it's trending, and I'm that guy that just refuses to get Facebook,
Right. No, I gotta say, man, prelim 10. Prelim 10, I like that. That's a good call number, man. Prelim 10. Like if we had him on the show, I'd be like, hello everybody, this is Hebro 77 along with Prelim 10. You know what I mean? It just sounds, I don't know. It sounds numeric.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It makes it sound like a password that you're trying not to forget.
Oh yeah, well, don't tell people that. It's funny about passwords. A lot of people's passwords are either their birthday or their anniversary or their dog's birthday.
Or the word password. You wouldn't believe how many people use the word password. Have you ever used the word password as your password?
I don't think I've ever been that lame. That would be like, in the movie Spaceballs where he says, "What's the combination to the luggage?" or "What's the combination to the air supply safe?" or whatever he says, and the guy goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's like 1, 2. Hey, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. That sounds like the combination that some idiot would have on his luggage.
Thing is, the most like accounts that get hacked are hacked by people if you are dumb enough to use like 1, 2, 3, 4, or your date of birth, or the word password. Because like say your wife, or your significant other notices you've been staying out late, or realizes you've been getting random calls in the middle of the night, and you duck off to the bathroom to go check your messages. So she gets a slight inclination. Well, maybe I should check out his phone. She'll pick it up and she'll try, 2468 or 0000, or your date of birth or something like that, just to take a little peeky peek. Make sure things are on the lev. You know what I'm saying? So just saying, if you're going to be doing things that you shouldn't be doing, you should at least take the time to make sure you use a clever password as well. That's all I'm saying.
That's a good point. I'm not going to say that I resemble that remark, but that is a really good point. But hey, you know what? We have a late entry in our little Taco Tuesday club here tonight, and it looks like this person has their camera on. I'm gonna they're waving at
when you say stuff like this, I never know what to expect. It could be anybody from person from Australia with green hair to Michelle from Awake and Activate. You know what I mean?
Doesn't System Failure have green hair? But he's not from Australia though.
No, and he has normal colored hair.
Oh, okay. Well, I was probably thinking about one of his avatars.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. If we go by avatars, now we're entering a whole new crazy realm.
The realm of crazy abilities.
Yeah, crazy possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at me. I'm an animated tiger with sunglasses on.
Well, hey, look at me. I'm an animated muscle-bound character with a sword in his hands.
Yes. Who happens to ride an animated tiger that wears glasses sometimes.
I don't know if he wears glasses sometimes, but yeah, you're probably right. I do.
I was like, as the words were coming out of my mouth, I realized it didn't sound nearly as cool as it sounded in my head when I said it.
Well, hey, let me let in our special. I almost said special guest.
You said that we have a Taco Tuesday club, by the way. I wanted to know. I was not aware that we actually had a club, so I probably haven't paid up on my membership dues.
Yeah, well, they're $18 a month, so.
Oh, that figures.
You're behind. You're behind by.
Does this include unlimited tacos at any point during the transaction?
Sure.
All right.
Why not?
All right. Well, then it's definitely worth it.
Yeah. But also, with the bowling every Wednesday.
I guess you better bring whoever's back there in the back room. Bring them forward before they eat all the green M&Ms.
I don't want them to eat all the green ones. I love the green ones. I think they're not eating the green M&Ms, by the way. They're probably eating all the free tacos we set back there.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, let me let them in. Hello there. Uh-oh. You muted up, man.
Well, hello. I can see you.
I was trying to pull the chat. I was leaving. I don't have my $18. What are you talking about?
Oh.
I don't
That's
have that kind of
okay.
money.
Well, we'll let it slide this time. You
Yeah,
And
know?
there's
this
no
is-
tacos back here either, so they're lying.
Well, then we'll just call it even. How's that sound?
Okay. Sounds good. Happy Cinco de Mayo, gentlemen.
Well, right back at you.
And everybody in the chat.
I mean, how often is it that you get like 2 great holidays back to back in a row? May the 4th and then
And-
Cinco de Mayo.
And somebody that actually predicted that this day was going to be a change, and it has begun. So thank you, Hebrew. I have to say, you called it, man. I was like, wow. He said that Cinco de Mayo is a very special day, and pretty much called what's going on. And I'm impressed.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Have you shared that with anybody? Well, I know Saji knows. Once you start talking about it, he's gonna go, oh, yeah, he did say that. And yeah.
I don't know about all that. I don't know about predicting anything. I was saying it was a special day because we get to have free tacos. I don't know where that's coming from.
No,
Well,
that's
now
not
you
what
got
he
me
said.
intrigued.
Yeah,
So
me
what-
too, man. I have no idea what you're talking about, Michelle. None.
You said 5/5/2020 is going to be super lucky. Watch.
When did he say this?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. One of us, right when the show ended, exited stage right, and Hebrew and I were on for, I don't know, we talked for about 5 minutes.
So was it a week ago, 2 weeks ago?
You can't ask me questions like that. And no,
Oh.
it wasn't that long ago. It wasn't that long ago. And it wasn't that long ago. It was
I
probably
must have
4 or
had
5 days ago.
I must have had a brain aneurysm at that time.
I'll find it. I'm sure it's in either our text chat or it's somewhere, because you said it and I was like, he was right.
5/5/2020, huh?
He said 5/5/2020. With numbers like that, it's like it's gonna be a good day. And it is.
Well, I know you got something, some news to share with us here on this very special edition of Taco Tuesday.
I do. What's that?
Sure, yeah. Things appear to be getting better as far as lockdown is concerned in California.
Yeah, well, I just got done. I'm late because I was FaceTiming with my parents, and after I got off with them, I thought about it and I said, "Don't you dare tell anybody, because we do not want what happened at the beach to happen here. Let it all happen in time, because it'll happen in every county, as each county is ready, and so it will happen in your county when it's time. And I'm afraid if I tell people, then everybody's going to be up here, and then we're going to be back to square one again."
Oh, okay, I see.
But I did send you guys the articles, and that was pretty interesting information. And I do want to remind you guys that in the very beginning of this, and it is also circulating again, they're playing it over actually on media platforms, which I don't even watch, but some people have pulled them, and that's how I'll get a glimpse into it. That the going into our homes, and doing this for health reasons was always voluntary. We were never like on house arrest. Things got taken out of context and went out of control to the point where we felt like we couldn't leave our house. I don't know how that happened. It shifted from it being a complete voluntary thing to, okay, everybody, stay in your house, don't come out, or the police are gonna break you guys up if you're talking in a group and disperse you or whatever. But it was
Michelle,
always voluntary.
I will say this: it's kind of hard to think of it as being voluntary when you have what are those little things called that float? When you have drones flying by your town,
Oh, I
saying,
know.
Everyone
Well,
stay in your homes.
I have not seen one myself, but yeah, I
Yeah.
saw the.
I
saw the.
I can't help but think of like the whole the analogy of how you boil a lobster. You don't throw it in the water boiling hot. You put it in the pot and you gradually turn up the heat. And I think was more. We're getting more of that than we are the other right now. They're putting us
Now,
in
wait a minute.
these scenarios and then gradually, they're going to gradually bring us to a boil. They're not going to just throw us in all at once.
Now, wait a
Yeah,
minute.
we have restaurants open. We have parks open. We're allowed to buy clothing. We're allowed to buy underwear. I couldn't believe that they had
What?
like
Wait.
clothing and underwear and stuff partitioned off as non-essentials. But we can buy toys for our kids, and it's just the stores that have already been open that they partition this stuff off with their caution tape. That all you had to do is reach over and grab what you wanted, anyways, and check
Right.
out with it, and you could have had it anyways. I mean, what are they going to say? Your money's not good here? No, they want your money. So,
Now,
anyway,
wait.
so that stuff
Wait.
now we can start purchasing, and
I'm
that's good.
confused. Underwear? We weren't allowed to buy underwear? What the hell?
I know, isn't that weird? You could get Depends though. You can go get your diapers. Those are essential. Your
good.
underwear is not. You can go commando, I guess. So can
Well,
women.
good,
I don't-
'cause I need my Depends when I'm going live. That way I don't have to get up and go anywhere,
And you need your chonies because you got masks. Oh, I need to get you that clip.
Oh, that's right. My
I did
underwear
trim
mask.
it. I trimmed it for you. I just didn't get it finished where you couldn't hear me talking to you. I was just amazed at how good it looked. I would have never thought it was a pair of chonies. Never. When you put it on for a moment, when you popped on screen and then you went away, I thought it was a mask. I thought you made a mask. I had no idea. None until you actually had to show me how you did that. Wow.
That was kind of stolen off of something I saw off of Facebook, by the way.
I don't care. It's funny. It's good. I liked it.
Hey, you know what? Let's give this room a shout out real quick before we get into topics, because I'm about to rip the government a new one.
Ooh, I'm gonna. If I leave,
Oh,
I'll be back. I'm not. I'm so apolitical. I don't care what the government does. Only thing I care about is what I do, what you do, what Saji does, what Michael Fontaine does, what Preliminal does, what Another Late Night 78 does, what Awaken Activate does, and what Hebrew from Eternia does. And there's your shout out.
there you go. Yeah, I was getting ready to say you just did it. Oh, okay, cool. Well, thank you, Michelle. Thanks for that. I appreciate it.
Just trying to make your job easy.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. But you know what? One person you did mention was Michael Fontaine.
I did first, but you guys didn't do Michael Fontaine.
Right.
I love saying his name too. Michael Fontaine?
Michael Fontaine.
Michael Fontaine.
Hey, you know what? Let's ask Michelle this question. How did you think Saji fared with his $14 headset?
What are you talking about?
Were you here then? Did you hear that?
No.
Hey, why don't you demonstrate for her real quick?
Oh no! What did
Oh
you
no,
do?
I don't want to. I done threw him against the wall, my man.
Oh, okay. You threw. Okay, I got you.
$14. Go to the 5 and Under store. You know those
Well,
5 and Under stores. Just go in there.
I've already invested $14. Now, why would I go invest another?
You take
penny?
those back. If they don't work right, take them back. Get your $14 back, and then just pocket the 9 and keep, pay the 5, and you'll have a good set.
You know what though? I watched a movie last night with them on, and they did a great job for that. So they are
Okay.
worth the $14.99 for at least that purpose. So
Well,
maybe
hold
I'll
on.
just have to go back to the drawing board for as far as live broadcasting is concerned.
It'd be the same thing. Why is it different?
That's what I'm trying to.
you're not setting your sound up. You're not going into the corner of your screen when you're going live and setting it up to your headphones, are you? Your earbuds.
On the phone, I don't get as many audio options as you do on StreamYard. I get audio on or off. I don't get anything as far as volume or anything. Now, there's
Plug 'em
volume
in.
on the headset itself, and I tried messing with that, but to be honest with you, it's dimly lit room, and I'm a half-blind giant, so.
Oh my gosh. Half blind giant in a halfly lit room.
Yeah.
That sounds, is there China?
No China. The
Okay.
China's been gone for centuries.
Well,
we haven't seen China in these parts for years.
No, just big bowls, right?
the
Yeah.
plasticware.
Yeah.
Plasticware, right? You have
That
plastic-
Jack and this beanstalk, you don't even show up anymore.
Oh my god.
you're like a battle cat in a plasticware shop. How about that?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You nailed it.
Guys are too much.
I'll tell you what, man. I've been slacking off here lately. Last week, I tried to have a relaxed non-Taco Tuesday. I told Saji, I'm like, I'm not going live. We're not doing Taco Tuesday. I said, instead of that, how about I just play a bunch of cat videos for 6 hours?
You were joking.
Well,
though.
it was 8 hours, mind you.
Yes, it was 8 hours.
8 hours, right?
8 hours. Yeah. I've seen
And,
the message.
well,
I didn't see the cat. I heard a live stream for 8 hours, and I was like, I can't do that. Forget it. I'm out.
yeah. Well, YouTube apparently thought it would be funny if they pulled the plug on me. But in YouTube's defense, though, I was showing someone else's cat videos. So,
Oh my gosh! Wait, this isn't a joke. You really did this?
yeah, I did it.
You're such a rebel. You
And
know,
we're live now.
only you can make streaming cat videos such a rebellious task.
And only you could get forgiveness from YouTube like this. What did you do? How much did you pay them their $18?
No, I did.
That's funny. Oh my
Why
god.
am I getting like a King of the Hill? That boy ain't right.
Boy, ain't right. There's just something wrong with that boy. What?
It went on for about 3 hours, and then like I took a nap. I said, "Okay, I'm just gonna put this on and go take a nap." So I went and took a nap. Then when
By the way, did you take a cat nap?
Cat nap. That's good.
Very funny.
Touche.
Yeah. But
Okay.
no, I put it on. I took a nap, and then when I awoke, I was at the 5-hour 30-minute mark, and there was nothing on there. The timer was still going, but it was the stream.
How do you know you didn't run out of cat videos?
Well, no, because it was a 10-hour cat video.
Oh, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So I
It
guess-
sounds like quite the catastrophe.
Oh,
Catastrophe.
it was.
Catastrophe.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know you actually did that. Don't do it again, please.
You know, when people are talking about that they're streaming Tiger King, binge watching Tiger King, that doesn't mean that they're watching
They're
8
watching-
hours worth of cat videos. You know that, right?
it doesn't mean that they're streaming it live on their channel. It means that they're binge watching it themselves from the content creator. But leave it to Hebrew to fall asleep with funny cat videos.
I know you had all that great footage and you missed it.
Right.
And then now, can you access it still? Is it like there, or do you even know how many people watched it?
I think there was 2, maybe 3 people that day.
And
I think-
that's probably why they let it slide, since
I think
funny.
Michael Fontaine might have been there. Michael Fontaine, were you there? Pre-liberal slid in for a minute, but then I think he saw the cat videos and went, "What the WTF?" You know?
Pause your stream. I like it. They paused your stream. Well, sometimes they do limit your stream time. You know, 3
Kat,
hours, 4 hours. If they don't see you like interacting or something, then like just like if you were to start a movie and you're not interacting, or doesn't matter if it's something that you made, they're only going to allow it to go for so long before they cut the stream.
and not to mention this whole cute cat video thing and cat images. That's kind of like how do I put it? Like it's like big business. It's like you guys remember the beginning of Transformers? You know, that was their entrepreneurial prospects. Was they were making cat calendars and printing them up, because believe it or not, people buy cat calendars and loved watching cat videos. It's like it's big business. Like people probably are out there protecting, copywriting that more than they would most other things that you can think of. I mean, you wouldn't think that cat video is such a big deal, but to have your own personalized, copyrighted cat content created,
did Snowball
content.
make the cut?
Yeah. You're going to protect it when people like Hebro show up and try to mirror it and streamline it.
No, I'm serious, Hebrew. Did Snowball make the cut? Actually, I called him Stop Go. He's passed away now. But the cat video that I have on my channel, it was my parents' cat, and my dad made his mouth move in this weird ominous voice, and what this cat said. Oh, it was hilarious. It's short, but he's got one red eye. Well, he had one red eye and one green eye. So I always called him Stop Go, because he was either stopping or going, no matter, depending on what side of his face you were looking at.
Oh, Stop Go.
That's how my ex-girlfriend used to drive. She was either accelerating or braking. She didn't know anything in between. I was either leaning forward toward the dashboard because she was braking, or I was my head was glued to the back of the headboard of the seat because she was accelerating. She didn't just know how to coast or cruise.
Hold on, I'll grab it for you, Hebrew.
Oh, all right.
I should have called her.
You can share it.
I have your permission then.
You have my permission. Let me find it.
Your permission.
Permission.
Right.
Have you guys ever rode with somebody like that? They're either constantly giving the car gas or constantly hitting the brake. They don't have any in between.
Years ago, when I was in my tweens,
that was you?
I experienced. No. I didn't get my driver's license until I was 21. Believe it or not. There's an embarrassing fact about me you guys didn't know.
You must have been a bad kid.
Well, I don't know about that. I just had a teacher that was overzealous in his teachings. So they were the kind of person that you'd get in the car with, and they would make you nervous driving with them because they'd yell at you for every little, oh, you're braking too soon. Oh, you're using the brake too fast. Oh, you turned into that other lane and even though you did use your turn signals, you did carefully look and all that stuff, but they just make you nervous about how you're driving according to their standards.
Right. They're constantly checking your mirrors for you, and yeah, I know the type.
Where do you want me to put this? You guys don't seem to be doing in our little our hangout anymore. Are you guys in there still, or is that a good place to put it?
In
our Tuesday. I don't know what you were talking about when you posted the link about some other area. I don't know what that is.
I got you in the Hebrew crew.
Well, you're gonna have to send me another thing. I don't.
Just send it to Taco Tuesday for now.
I can send it straight to you.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Will that work? Can you get it?
Sure.
Okay.
After we watch,
you have it.
Now?
You have it already.
Oh, all right, cool.
It's 2 minutes. Cats have taken over the world, and I have proof.
Well,
now I gotta get
I'm
back to your show. Hang on.
Well, as long as you got proof, at least we know it's not some type of, unacknowledged conspiracy theory or something like that.
Oh, my dad is so creative. He makes a lot of my background art. Oh my gosh, he's amazing. He can do the most amazing things.
Well, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. A lot of my creations come from him. I'm lucky.
So what you're saying is this is the cat's meow?
He made this. He made it and then sent it to me and gave me permission to use it as my own. He gifted it, I guess is what you'd call it. And of course, I have a relationship with this cat. I mean, this cat was old as dirt. And then to see him starting to talk and with the grumpy voice, I don't want to give any spoilers. No spoilers.
Well, I've got the large screen on here. Let me know when I'm sharing.
Okay,
I can see it.
I'm still trying to move the pop-out chat. Hang on. I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Ooh,
Wait.
the old Opinions channel, huh?
Yeah, it's an oldie but goodie. That's why I was having a hard time finding it. Okay, I'm coming your way.
All right.
Where are you?
Who, me? Here.
I've lost you guys. Oh, here you are.
Okay.
Thank you, babe. And I'm on StreamYard with you. Let me mute.
Yeah, I'm going to mute up as well.
Oh, okay. Well, here we go. Ready or not? Here's this 2-minute clip of cat video.
Welcome to Michelle's Opinions. As we are all waking up, we see the changes all around us and into this new understanding of who we are. We learn that we are limitless.
Like the intro.
Share the tools, growth, and better understanding. I have 17 years of experience and many tools in my toolbox that I want to use you to understand, teach you to be sovereign being. Welcome to the family, and I hope you enjoy this episode of Michelle's Opinions.
For those of you that do not know me, I am Snowball, the king of the home and ruler of humans. When I meow, they listen and bow to my existence, scrambling to fetch me water and some delicious canned food. Well, I am getting hungry, so I will be calling my meal ticket. And by the way, I just left a beauty in the litter box, and of course it was not covered up.
Joining me for this episode.
That is my dad's humor. There you have it.
Oh boy.
Dry.
And
You don't need to watch all this part. It's just the ending. So
Bookmark this page. You can
I like, when I saw the red eye, blue eye, the first thing I thought of was this, like the Morpheus scene from The Matrix. It's like he took both pills.
sorry, guys.
he was in balance. He was in total balance. But I'm going to tell you, he didn't do anything to his eyes. There was no enhancement. That was the cat's actual eye color.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
That was him. That's him. Stop go.
I gotta say that that was more creepy than it was cute.
Yeah.
That-
He was, and also I'm going to tell you, he was male. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing to this poor cat? He's got heart-shaped earrings on. Now,
nose
okay,
ring.
the heart-shaped earrings and the nose ring and stuff was done like through that he added all that. That's what I'm saying. My dad's really good. And this was a couple years ago, and he's just like, my dad runs circles around creating the animations and things. I mean, he's amazing, but he put all that stuff It wasn't actually on the cat. The only thing that was on the cat was the white bandana. And then he made his mouth move and do all that. And then he added that creepy voice and robotic voice. And
Well, I was about to say, you keep going on and on about the eye color as if that's the remarkable thing about this cat when, you know, it actually talks.
it's a talking kitty.
That voice.
But the eyes are real. That's, I mean, all the rest is, okay, come on. But the eyes are real. That's that cat's real eyes. It was just, they were beautiful. But what we found out, he was my aunt's cat, the one that I would go down and take care of and all that stuff. And my mom was actually her main caregiver. And when they would need a break, I would go down, give them a couple weeks, and I would take care of my aunt. So when she, had her problems and was needing round the clock care, the cat, my mom inherited the cat. Well, he had the red eye and the green eye. Well, I was the one that figured out that he was blind on one side. So the red eye, he's actually completely blind. My parents were thinking they were going to need to get rid of him because he attacked my dad. But what happened was my dad came up on the side that he couldn't see him and spooked him shortly after, he got separated. And the cat latched onto he leaped up and clamped down on my mom's arm and was biting and wouldn't let go. And my dad was trying to get the cat to release from my mom. He's like, oh, this cat's not staying here if I can't trust him, not to hurt. Well, we found out he was blind. So we just walked around on the green side. So the stop go actually kind of made sense. Go around on this side where I can see you. I mean, he was old and he just got separated from his owner. He didn't know what was going on. And he ended up being like my mom's lap kitty. I mean, he just loved her to pieces.
Well, I got to tell you, when they took down that video that I did, or not the video, the live stream, I said to myself, well, fine then. I'll just go out and make my own cat videos. I'll just walk around the neighborhood, watch the cats, absorb them as they observe them as they walk down the sidewalk and do things. You know how cats are. They do things eventually. So
did you play any of the cucumber cat videos?
Oh man, you know what? I should have done that.
You should have. Those are funny. It didn't work for Stop Go though. I tried. On one of my 2-week ventures, I had seen those and I was like, I threw down a cucumber and he just sniffed it and then walked away. It's like, I have my treats. This means nothing to me. I'm going to go lay down now. It's like, okay. Didn't work.
Well, they say that the cat's natural born enemy is the dog, but I think it's the pickle. I really do.
Mr. Pickle?
Mr.
Pickle Rick? Pickle Rick?
Oh.
Are we allowed to say that?
Sure, why not? It's not like we're CEO of it.
He turned himself into a pickle so he didn't have to go to the shrink. What are you playing? What you got for us now? You got something going on. What is it?
But I do have an article I want to read
Awesome.
to you guys. Earlier on the show today, I said I'm going to tear the government a new one. Well, you're saying how
have you and the government since made up?
Yeah, but I want to say.
But did you get your did you get your $1,200 stimulus check and decided, well, I guess I'll let you guys slide this time?
That's not going to cut it for me. What I think of the government, I'll give you my opinion. Since we just played Michelle's opinions, I went back straight to that mode. Zoom. I need to change my name. Anyways, I don't care what the government does. They don't pay my bills. They're not involved in my personal life. I'll come and go. I do things. I make sure that what I do doesn't, I don't encroach my sovereignty over the will of other people, and they don't do it to me. Leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. Now, if you start getting in my business, we're going to have problems. But if they do their thing and leave me alone, I'll leave them alone. That's how I look at it. I'm not going to get all worked up, upset. I'm not going to, have my blood pressure go up, or I'm not going to allow them that kind of power over me. Forget it. It's not worth it. But anyways, you can say whatever you want on your show. You know that I'll just knuckle down and listen. See me listening?
All right, yeah. So anyway, you were getting started, and I interjected. So go right ahead. The floor is yours, Hebrew.
Saji, stop interrupting.
No, you see, the thing is,
Oh, did I mention that the other? Oh, never mind. Go.
Saji, I know where you live.
yeah, we all do, but we don't know what he looks like. But
You don't know what he. Oh, have you been announcing that?
that's
That
what
contest?
where I'm getting. That's kind of where I'm getting at. Is like, we had this Saji, what the Saji look like contest going, and of course the 10th is the deadline, but it doesn't look like we're getting any entries at all whatsoever. So I don't know. I'm still going to hold it up to make them. Huh?
Have an extension.
Well,
keep it going, because we want to look at a few of these, and then have the big reveal. Yeah. Somebody's drawing some crazy pictures right now of what they think Saji looks like. They're just not done yet. They didn't have enough time.
What is going on? Why are we losing? But no, I just wanted to talk about the government because, here the last few months, the government's had this in place order and stuff like that. And it doesn't seem like they're practicing what they preach, so to speak. And I'll give you guys a few examples of that. The first example is former President Obama was spotted last week. Let's see, this has been a couple days ago. He was spotted on his in his private club, his private golf club or whatever, playing golf outside, out in the field, with a bunch of people around him. Not bunch, but a few people around him. I don't think they were standing your usual 6 feet away. I mean, that's kind of nitpicking, but that's not as far as it goes. Okay. 2 days later.
Oh, wait, just 2 days before, though, he was seen at the golf course, Hero. It's worth noting that Michelle Obama put out a PSA encouraging people of color to stay home, that our neighborhoods, we are being heavily impacted by the virus. And yes, it is important that we all come together as a culture and that we take this seriously and that we all just stay home. And then 2 days later, her husband's a 45-minute drive away from home at the golf course, chipping it up with his buddies at his private golf. It's one thing to give out the PSA and tell everybody to stay home. Then, but and then the next 2 days later, your husband's out golfing with his buddies. That's the part that made it so. Just the fact that he went golfing wasn't so bad, or just the fact that she did the PSA wasn't so bad. It's when you throw the two things together.
Right. I mean, I was getting ready to read that, but I'm glad you brought that up because that's a good point. How she's saying, Michelle Obama's saying, we urge you to stay at home. You need to go out and get essentials, essential grocery shopping, essential doctor visits, blah, blah, blah. But yet her husband's out golfing 2 days later. And here's an example. There's a mayor. I'm trying to hold on. Okay. So essential trips to your country club are essential, apparently. But there was a Chicago mayor who says her haircut was essential, and she went to her neighborhood salon, which, by the way, was only open, I think, just for her. So she says that was an essential cut. Now, I won't say
Well,
anything.
because she's the mayor. Because
Right.
it's essential for her because she has to be in front of a camera. But it's why? How is it essential for you? But at the same time, the day before she's out getting her hair did, she's telling the police, to shut down any hairstyling places to try to open.
Yeah.
Again,
she's
I'm not trying to steal your thunder. It just gets me aggravated. I'm sorry, my
Oh
man.
yeah, I'm aggravated too. And as we're on this America on lockdown thing, the other thing is J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, of course, was hold on, I got to quit this. Pritzker was his wife was caught out doing something or another, and I forget what it was. It was normal everyday activity that we're all not supposed to do, and she was out and about doing it. And then when he was questioned about it, he said, "That's an appropriate question. I can't believe that you would ask such a question that has nothing to do with anything." And then of course he went on his speech about how everyone should stay at home and everyone should still be wearing their mask going out in public and this and that. And that's not even the straw that camel's back, mind you. There's a lot more examples of that. And let's see here. Let's see here.
So I think yesterday or the day before, the federal government, basically is now leaving, is ended the federal quarantine or federal lockdown, and they're leaving it now up to individual states to decide amongst themselves how their own individual reopen plan, the timing, they base it on what's going on with their state. Now, we all live in different states. I would say that it has a lot to do with how dense the population is. Like if you live in a place like Detroit or New York City, you can probably expect that you're not going to be resuming normal activities as soon as somebody who lives out in a rural area where houses are spread apart and there's a low density of population. However, with all that being said, it seems like we have two separate groups out here. We have people who are fanatically biting at the bit to get back out and get back to business as usual. And we have people who are thinking that those people have straight lost their mind. Don't they realize that the sky is falling and that we're all going to die if we don't all stay in our houses and hoard our toilet paper? So I think that there's probably a happy medium somewhere in between. I mean, where do you guys see this? I mean, how do you see this playing out where everybody's happy?
Well, here's the thing. Not only that, but the Maine governor, Janet Mills, extended their lockdown, and her excuse was saying we're not out of the woods yet. And it seems like a lot of the governors are using their power or over abusing their power to put these guidelines into place, and they're not telling people. They're telling people to do what in other words, they're telling people do what they say to do and not as they do. And it's getting
do as I say, not as I do. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
they're
not leading by example, are they?
They're not leading by example, and I think they're over abusing their power, and they're rewriting the Constitution, so to speak, like the free assembly, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. There's a lot of churches that they've shut down. They've arrested several pastors that tried to preach in their church and tried to have regular church services. I mean, we can go all the way back to Easter when they tried to close down Easter Sunday services and arrested several pastors for breaking the the no people over 10 rule, the gathering rule, I should say.
Right.
But
Yeah, I mean, I remember us talking about that on Shifty Sunday when it first happened. I was pretty upset about that too. I have a feeling that you have these specific in California. I know for sure, and Detroit, Michigan. I'm aware of the civil unrest that's been going on there, and that I can't think of her name, but that female governor that's made lots of headlines in her draconian ways. It's like these people are showing you their true leadership abilities. You're all of a sudden who you elected governor of your state is now has become a more significant decision than ever before. And I think the result of this is going to be people who've never even known the name of their governor before are not only aware of who their governor is, but are aware of how much they politically agree or politically disagree with them. I have a feeling the result of this is going to be a lot of people losing a lot of governorships and leadership across the board should be changing in these next coming elections. If people are paying attention the way that I hope they're paying attention to who's doing what, who seems to be a hungry draconian leader, and who is really a well grounded, listens to their delegates and the people around them, and pays attention to what the people who actually voted them in actually want to happen in their state and their and I think it's really going to we're going to see a lot of people's true colors, a lot of if there's a corrupt government in your state and you have a governor that is power hungry and likes to abuse power, this opportunity is going to expose that.
sure.
And I don't know, I can see where people actually might even relocate, move to a whole different state.
Well,
Or I'm sorry, go ahead. I got on a rant.
Yeah, you sure did. You really did, but it was worth it. No, man, you're exactly right. And you made a good point about the governors abusing their power. And I think what's going to eventually happen if this keeps up, even though they say, "Oh, yeah, we're going back to normal," and even though they're opening public restaurants, bars, places like that. They are still using tight restrictions on things, and there are states that aren't reopening bars and restaurants and whatnot have you. They're not reopening this or that because they are heavily regulated. And I think what's going to end up eventually happen if this keeps up too much longer, people are going to start seceding from their own states. They're going to start seceding from, like, let's say for an example, Chicago, and Illinois. Like we talk about Illinois, a lot of people think that I'm near Chicago, but really, in my opinion, I think that we should secede away from Chicago. And I think what a lot of this overusage of power is going to cause eventually is a revolt. And I think if it keeps up too much longer, we may see a second civil war in our midst. Now, I know that's certainly maybe an over exaggeration, but I don't think it is too far an exaggeration. In fact, there's so many things going on. We're being distracted by this whole virus thing that I think this is leading up to a third world war is what I really think it's leading up to. I'm not talking about the civil war, people against the government, but there's going to be a world war, us against China and France and Japan and all that stuff. But with all that aside, I do think that people are going to revolt so much that it is going to come to the point where they're going to, we already don't trust the government enough as it is because we've been lied to so many times. And that's like, if you hit a cat with a newspaper so many times, it's just going to go, you know what, F you, and it's going to walk off from you. I know that's a bad example, but it does happen. It does, you see it. And I think people are going to start rioting in the streets. They've already taken the streets. Have you seen any of those videos of the guys waving the American flag, saying, "People, step out of your house, come on out here and revolt against the nation, and revolt against your government"? I think it is going to lead to some sort of civil war. Maybe not a big civil war in a way that people think, but some sort of small, if not what's the word that I'm looking for? Some sort of revolting civil war. I don't know exactly what that means, but I'll give you guys about 5 or 10 minutes to discuss that over, because I really think that that's what's going to come of it. And I'm not trying to fear monger. I'm not trying to scare people into thinking, oh my gosh, we're going to have a war, this or that. But
No, I mean, I get what you're saying, and
Yeah.
I don't know so much as I don't know if I would go so far as to use the word civil war, because civil war means, you know, one of our country fighting the other part of our country,
well, that's
or
not exactly
some type of like government coup, like, you know, a revolt against the government itself. And
that's how
I really do think that it could come. That there's people are getting put in positions where we're going to have to stand up for our rights. Where we take a lot of these civil liberties for granted because we're used to always having them, and we never thought in a million years that in the name of a pandemic we would have to defend, you know, basic rights to be able to go outside, to be able to go to church, to be able to go to the park, to be able to to stand within 6 feet of somebody in public without a mask on. I mean, and I get a temporary acknowledgement of these rights in the name of safety, but then when people don't want to let go, when the governor of your when you get some type of draconian governor who just wants to keep it enforced for what seems to be political purposes, because numbers don't necessarily reflect the behavior, and people decide, you know what, it comes down to what the will of the people versus the will of a governor, and there's going to have to be some type of something is going to have to give. Like, are we really going to have to have a actual, you know, a peaceful protest turn violent before people come to realize, hey, you know, they're actually willing to hurt us over this stuff? I mean, that's what it's really. People are going. They're pushing us into a corner, and people, when they get pushed into a corner for so long, are going to eventually. There's going to be some kind of recourse. They're going to somehow lash back out. They're going, if they feel like that's the only way we're going to get, you know, our rights back. Yeah, I mean, I can actually see where scenarios play out where people in certain states are put into a certain position the time people stop respecting the law is when they start feeling that the law is unfair. And if they see other people getting back to quote unquote senses of normalcy, but for whatever reason our particular state or city or area isn't doing it, and we got police standing outside telling us we can't go here, can't go there, we can't even, you know, we can't do this or that or whatever. Yeah, people, it could come down to people being pushed into a corner for so long, actually lashing out and it turning into some type of peaceful protest. These little peaceful civil unrest protests could start turning into not so peaceful, and that's what I'm waiting to see. I'm really hoping that doesn't play out that way, but it almost seems like it's inevitable that it's going to happen. Do you guys see the writing on the wall where this is bound to happen sooner or later, or am I just being too conspiratorial?
Well, I was gonna say I'm gonna let Michelle talk on this, but she's muted up at the moment. But I will say Oh, go ahead, Michelle.
Oh, I was just agreeing with Michael Fontaine, but from the founding fathers, it was always supposed to be a separation of church and state. We weren't supposed to, because it was supposed to be a place of freedom, freedom to express yourself, religion, freedom to become and be anything. You can raise your hand when you're, in second grade, and they ask, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And you say, "I want to be president. I want to be an astronaut. And you should be able to achieve these goals. This is supposed to be the place where, of unlimited potential. This is supposed to be the place where you can achieve your dreams. Anything that you want to be, you're able to achieve it. But things are, as time is going on, it does seem a little more draconian where, when we are combining church and state and then putting the legal laws of different religions over us, whether it be Sharia or Torah or any of them, number one, not everybody has the same faith. And even with Christianity, there's 35,000 different denominations, interpretations of how they interpret Christianity to be. So with that being said, that's why we came here, was a freedom to get out from underneath the monarchy, to be of the people, by the people, and have the freedom of religion, freedom of speech, right to bear arms, all of these promises in that Declaration of Independence, in the Constitution that our foundation is built on, are not negotiable. Those are non-negotiable properties of our governing body. That's why we have 3 separate houses. That's to keep everything in balance. So not one has full autonomy and power, and the other 2 just, have no say-so in what's going on. So, like I said, though, when it comes to the government, I still view it in that regard with my freedoms. And I'm going to live my life with my freedoms and my sovereignty and the right to express and achieve my dreams. And I want everybody else to do that. And just because we had a hiccup here, it doesn't mean we need to fall apart and hurt each other. And that's what I think is sad about it. And then I'm just going to finish up with this, is what'll happen is the people will turn against each other instead of the people that actually did the problem action solution. So, if you turn against your neighbor, or you're trying to take something that is not yours and through might or, fear or, any type of tactic that you may use to try to take something that is not yours, it's not your belonging, you didn't purchase it, you didn't go out, or even if it's a hunt that somebody went out on, they may share it with you. You never know. But if you don't give them the chance to, because you go over there and steal it, I don't want to see our society break down as brother against brother, sister against sister. Doesn't need to be that way. We need to realize who caused the problem, that made the action, and who's trying to come up with the solution. And, together we can petition, because we are a governing body of the people, by the people, and we can replace them. That's why we're also supposed to have a well-formed militia. Just know your rights and know that this governing body doesn't have to affect you. It doesn't have to if you don't allow it. And it's not worth the stress that you put your body in, and it's not worth the anguish. It's not worth the headache. These people they do things that we look at them like, you're telling us to do one thing and you're doing the total opposite. Well, when I would watch, and I would like peek in to see what's going on when Trump was doing those daily briefings, what I was looking for is his body language. Were they social distancing? He wasn't wearing a mask in any of them. What was he trying to express to the American people? He was giving us symbolic type messages, if you could pick them up. And I also paid attention to one thing, and I've talked to you too about this, the one thing that they're not talking about. And the one thing they're not talking about is what we're facing in a bottleneck situation, which will take a little time, and then the flow will come. Just everybody remember, we're brothers and sisters. We're in this together. And just remember, even Jesus said to love your enemy. If you love your enemy, you have no enemy. So take care of each other. If they need your coat, give them your cloak too. If somebody doesn't have any water and you have an abundance of water, let's say you're a prepper, give them some freaking water. It's not like there's not going to be more water. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what I would like to see. That's the energy I want to put out. That is what I am praying for. That's the outcome. And it will transpire. We're going to get there.
Sure.
As long as cooler heads have to prevail.
And also
talk about it. That's like what you're doing, Hebrew. You need to talk about these things.
Yeah, and also keep in mind, everybody, and Hebrew, I mean this in the nicest way possible. Like the thing we were just talking about, the examples of the leadership saying one thing and doing another. A lot of that stuff is political fodder. It is mainstream news. It is mainstream news media's way of propping up a proverbial straw man, for lack of a better word. Like it is meant to distract us, to give us something to focus on other than look at the left hand, but so that you don't notice what the right hand is doing. And there really is a lot of our infrastructure, and not just our economic, but our literal food, our food supply chain, there's like it is all designed, was all designed certain ways to to be packed and shipped a certain way, because we used to have restaurants that were open that received a lot of this food. But right now we actually have farmers dumping out gallons and gallons of milk because they just have nowhere to send the milk, because the schools are shut down. So there's all these kids aren't at school drinking their little vitamin D 2% milk, and a lot of the restaurants aren't ordering are closed and aren't ordering their normal milk orders. You wouldn't believe how much of the dairy and the meat market, really like 50-60% of it goes to restaurant chains. Restaurant chains are closed, and they already had it, set to deliver, orders set to deliver and packaging set to deliver and package in a certain way. But now everybody is going to the grocery store. But the milk is sent to a distribution plant where it's meant to be distributed in a way that is set up for a restaurant, not for the grocery store. So a lot of these places are trying to ad lib or on the fly figure out a way to get more milk to the grocery store, since in the package type of containers that it needs to go, and through the trucks it needs to go to get to the grocery store, because the orders for milk there are 3 times as many, but now there's 0 in the restaurant. So you got a lot of these normal type hiccups that are occurring, and then it's going to get even worse when we start trying to slowly reopen, because now that they've started to make these adjustments, you're going to have some restaurants kind of open, wanting to resume some of their orders. So what I'm getting at is you're going to notice a lot of things are probably going to get a little bit worse, if not a lot worse, before they start to get better. So everybody is going to be kind of tried. And I don't really like to sit here and try to speculate that the government's against us. Everybody's the sky, the world's going to end. The Fed is going to collapse. The cabal is taking over. No. I mean, not any more than they were taken over 2 weeks ago. But what's really the real thing that we're trying, that we got to pay attention to right now, is preserving our normalcy, preserving the rights that we are used to having, and not letting any type of state leadership, local leadership, presidential leadership, no matter who the party is, no matter what, if they're Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, male, female, conservative, liberal, all none of that stuff matters. What matters is that we protect our normal rights that we're used to having. How much are we willing to agree to for future measures as far as vaccination requirements, ID requirements, record requirements? They're even talking about having churches that want to reopen give out anybody who comes into the church has to sign in and give their name, their phone number, and their address, and then the names, phone number, and addresses of anybody who shows up at this church needs to be put into a federal database for back tracing. Now, see, I am totally not okay with that. If I was the church, I would say, heck no, I am not. I mean, there's certain elements of privacy that don't need to be tested or retracted in the name. They're using this pandemic to change our rights, to change our certain rights of privacy and our certain civil liberties. That's the thing that we need to be paying attention to is how much we're willing to give up in the name of so-called safety and security and public health. I think that there's people who will try to take, for every little inch, they're going to want to take a mile, and you're going to have the opposite people constantly holding it close to the vest, not willing to give it up. And at the end of the day, this big tug of war is going to happen, and we're going to lose a little ground. We always do. If you look at go back and you look at September 11th, all of those things that they did in the name of Homeland Security were supposed to be temporary measures. Over time, they were supposed to be released. And you know what? Some of them did, and a lot of them didn't. And we're going to end up losing a little ground. It's a battle of how much ground we're willing to lose and how much we're going to be able to keep. At the end of the day, that's what it's all going to boil down to.
Okay. Before we go too
far. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Chat.
I'm done.
Michael Fontaine mentioned something in the chat, and I'm familiar with reservations, and he was talking about his father-in-law goes to the reservation for smokes, and he asked them, you're not closing because the governor said no sales of cigarettes in New York State. And the girl laughed about it and said, no. Well, let me explain how the reservations work. Okay. The reservations are actually, they're their own sovereign. There are we have, I worked on one in Oklahoma. Okay. Oh, wow. And they had their own land. They had, I did my hair went in my mouth. I had 27 sets of books, and each set of books that I did were for different programs, like what you would call like shops. One was food distribution. One was where they do the Meals on Wheels type of deal. Just several different things. And the casino. Then they had their clinic, and then business committee, which is their tribal council. But let me explain how that land works. They were given land, okay? They were run off of their land, but then they were given slots of land. Now, they do not have to comply with what is going on in the state. They don't have to comply with what's going on with the federal government. They have to answer to the BIA. Now, granted, they do. A lot of the tribes do depend on federal grant funding to keep their clinics going and a lot of their programs going, but that goes through the BIA. So let's say all of America's shut down, every state governor, they don't have any say so over tribal ground. They're sovereign. They have their own police force. They have their own council. What they called it business committee, but what it really is they have their president, their vice president, their secretary of treasurer, and then their council members, and then they bring things up just like we would in our government, and then they would vote on it, rule on it, take it to the people, allow the people to vote on it, and run it. It's their space.
It's their in-house leadership.
And they do
Infrastructure. Yeah.
not have to social distance. They do not have to wear masks. They do not have to shut down their businesses. They
Now,
don't
if
have to do
they're, if
any of
they're, but if their particular leader or president did decide they needed to, would they follow his lead if he said so?
It would have to be okay. The way that I understood how tribal situations work is it would have to be an elder, it would have to be a chief, that does the rites, the rituals, the spiritual, it would have to be somebody of great power. And even with his great power, he would drop the wisdom and leave it to the tribal members, and the majority would take it.
And you know what? I agree with that. And would you guys agree that most people, your average small business owner, is a fairly level-headed, reasonable person by nature? If they're capable of running a small business, they're reasonably intelligent and have some common sense about them. I mean, that's a safe assumption. Would you guys agree?
Well, I would agree with that, but also real quick before I forget, and your long speech while ago did have some words of wisdom to it. The stuff
that talking to me.
Well, no, I was talking about Saggy 78. But no, I was partially kidding. But no, it did have some wisdom to it, and what I wanted to touch on was.
You mean mixed in with all that nonsensical stuff I said? There was a couple tidbits. Cool, I'm glad to know that.
Couple sentences leaked in. No, man. You had a good point when you were talking about the restaurants. But you mentioned chain restaurants. You mentioned chain places, chain stores, and a lot of the businesses that are suffering have never been the chain restaurants. They have always been the local small businesses, which you just mentioned not 5 seconds ago. The small businesses are the ones that are suffering through all this. And in fact, some of them have even had to shut down permanently because they were just losing too much business. They couldn't keep up. They couldn't stand on one leg while the other one was getting sawed off while they were just doing delivery versus regular in-store business. And the other thing that you touched on that I want to talk about real quick is about the schools closing. Now, let me ask you guys this. As the schools closing, as they closed back in March, but they're still doing online classes. Like they're still doing, like, I know that my daughter still gets homework through the mail or whatever, or she gets it online or whatever the case is. I'm not sure. That's not my department. But as a parent, let me ask you guys this.
You don't work in the mailroom?
Huh?
That's not your department. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't. Yeah. But no, let me ask you guys this as a parent. And I know, I guess all three of us are parents. But what does this hold for the future of school? Does this mean that school's going to go on for the rest of the summer? Are the kids not going to get a summer, or is their summer start early because of this whole pandemic? And let me ask you this while I'm touching on that subject. Also, is this going to carry over for next year?
Well, they're already talking about the infamous second wave, and prepare for this. This coming fall. It's like I don't know if you guys ever watched Game of Thrones. They always had this phrase, "Winter is coming." It took like 5 seasons for it to get there, but it eventually showed up, and I think that's put in your best Game of Thrones theme music and font style, and then type in the second wave is coming, because that's basically what we're all preparing for at this point, the proverbial second wave. All these restrictions are slowly going to ease up, and then all of a sudden they're going to about the time we're supposed to go, step into a voting booth and decide who's going to be the next proverbial leader of our country, the headpiece, mind you, because that's really all the president is. But nevertheless, about the time we show up in the polling booth, the voting booth, to go cast that vote, if we're able to actually make it into a booth, they might come up with some type of other thing where we mail in our ballots or whatever. But all of that is, I could go on and on about all that stuff, but let's stay back on it. The second wave is coming. Okay, so how bad is the second wave? Are we going to just all kind of start to create this slight sense of normalcy, just to tell everybody go back to your room and put your mask on?
About the second wave, real quick, Saji. Now,
is that what we're all going to do?
The so-called experts are now saying that this could go on for as long as 2 years. I read that like 5 days ago. Oh yeah, 2 years. Sure, we're going to put up with this for 2 more years. I don't think so.
It comes down to this: how soon is there really going to be this so-called vaccine? Right? Let's say there's going to be a vaccine that they can start administering for the old people, for the people who have impaired immunities, because all of this lockdown is in the name of smashing the curve, right? To keep hospitals from being overwhelmed and to protect the people with weak immune systems and the elderly, right? So once the weak immune systems and the elderly can get a vaccine, then everybody can pretty much go. If you're young and healthy, you can go out there and take your chances under normal, take your chances, put on a mask, practice some social distancing. You may or may not eventually get it, but you got to get, assuming that it's a real virus like they say it is, and I'm going to go under that narrative and let's say it's all that's true. Okay, so you have to either catch it and get better to build up the immunities. That's the only way to really do it right now. Or you are eventually going, if you have weak immunities, you're going to opt for the quote unquote vaccine, right? So it really boils down to this: how long for the vaccine? And if you're healthy and you want to go out in the world and take your chances, shouldn't that be your right? Shouldn't you have the right to do that once there is this so-called vaccine? But if it's going to be 2 years away, then we just need to go on out there and get some herd immunity going on. But if it's going to be 6 months, 8 months from now, maybe we can just slowly try to get back to normal and wait on. But there's not going to be any vaccine in 6 to 8 months. It's just not a realistic expectation. So, yeah, it really is one of those conundrums. It really is like, it boils down to, I guess, where your interests lie and what your opinion is. Everybody's going to have a different answer on what the right answer is, on how long a shutdown is feasible versus how many days you can, we can recover from a shutdown. There's so many variables that come into play as far as people's health and well-being and our ability to bounce back as a country, as a nation, from being shut down. These are all huge questions that nobody really knows the answer to. So, we could sit here and talk about it all night long, but I don't even know that we would actually come up with the right answer,
Saji, can I interject something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm done.
They're actually talking about opening up like Disneyland and Disney World. There's several counties already in the process of going through the reopening of their counties. They're doing it county by county, but based on the cases and the numbers. And I did send an article to Hebrew earlier. If he wants, he could read it because it'll kind of put people at ease on, there's nothing to be afraid of as for catching this and it actually manifesting into something fatal for you. They found out now with the actual data that that's not the case. What they had in the beginning, they started with information that they didn't know anything about this little bug or whatever we're going to call it. And so they ran with that data, with that simulation, that tabletop simulation, and put out the pandemic. Well, now that the data is in, the testing's been done, and they know now, they've got facts. They've also really looked into what this does, what it attacks in people's body, what is the best means of treatment. And they said that, let's see, they tested, I'd have to look at the article. I don't know, 42,000, but only 300 and something tested positive, and 93% of them had a full recovery. And the ones who didn't ended up being 0.1%. And they also had underlying medical conditions. So it's actually less fatal than the flu that comes around annually. But I'm not looking at the article right now. I did send it to Hebrew. If you guys wanted to dig into that, to share that with people, if it will bring some peace and some calm, go for it. It's your show. Go with the flow.
I agree. I'm anxious to see things come back to open and come back up, and that's encouraging. Any good news is encouraging. It's just this whole talk of the second wave. It's going to be interesting to see how people react to having to us slowly working our way back to normal, just to be told to put our masks back on and go back to our rooms. I don't think people are going to do it so willingly on a quote unquote second wave. As much as we've been, I don't know though. I don't know. I'm not trying to really be super. I'm trying to stay open-minded and optimistic, but I really do hope that people are just paying a lot of attention to how much they're willing to give up in the name of so-called health and safety. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, Saji. I might interject just for 1 minute. Just 1 minute.
Oh,
I will put a positive sort of spin on it. Now, Michelle, you talked about in your county, things are actually getting normal again. They're opening up the beaches, not just in your county, but pretty much all over. They're opening up the beaches. They're opening up restaurants. They're opening up bars and stuff like that. And I will say this, I have noticed here recently when I went shopping to Dollar General, the shelves are filling back up. They are full. Like I went in there and there really wasn't anything I couldn't find except for garlic powder or garlic salt. Oddly enough, it seems as though people are buying up all the garlic powder and garlic salt in large quantities. Now, I am fortunate enough to have my own garlic reserves because I raise my own garlic. So I do have a lot of garlic. And I guess if I really wanted to, when it came down to it, I could dry all those up in the oven and grind them into a fine powder. And that would be all good and well. But I think it is weird that people are buying up the garlic supplies like they were buying up toilet paper over 2 months ago. It just seems weird, but yeah, things are getting better. And then the toilet paper department as well. I noticed that there are more toilet paper on the shelves than there are napkins or paper towels now. So I think that that's a good positive thing. So yes, we are seeing things go back to normal, but the normacy is also followed up by the strangency as well, as me and Saji talked about earlier on. I'm not sure strangency is a word, but anyway, we were talking about, things will reopen and people will be going out in droves, but they're still going to have to wear their masks. They're still going to have to wear their gloves, and it's going to be awfully weird running about a bar or whatever, going to a movie theater and watching movies with your mask on and sitting like 10 feet apart from each other and separate chairs. We were talking about that, and we're like, everyone's just looks like strange doctors walking down the street like they just escaped a mass unit, you know. I'm just saying. I digress, though. Go ahead, Michelle.
Huh? I can't even hold a conversation in chat. I think I'm lost. I thought I was talking to Longreach One. She said something about the background, and I don't know. Maybe she's talking about the tacos. Maybe you're making her hungry because we were talking about Indian tacos and we were talking about fry bread and oh my gosh, and their burritos and when they would have those banquets. I'm still on the reservation, guys. The landscape there, I've seen some of the most beautiful, well kept, because they're naturalists. They keep things pure, and when they get together, they all bring a covered dish and they all bring something different. And then there's people that work all day long making fry bread, and it's so good. I'm like really hungry now, and it's all her fault. But I have to say, there's you'll probably be surprised how many reservations there actually are in the United States. There's probably one in the state that you're in. But remember, though, they don't have to let you in. They can police themselves. The tribe that I happen to be blessed to work for, they were actually they were trying to adopt me. So I'm like, and they called me token. Okay. Do you guys know who Token is, right? Okay. The entire time I worked there, I didn't understand why the secretary treasurer started it when the new council got elected in, and she goes, "We're going to keep our token." Because a lot of times they'll have a turnover in employment and bring in family members to do certain jobs or whatnot, right? And she, when they first came in, she goes, "We're going to keep our token." And then it picked up and people were like, "What are you doing, token? Where are you going, token?" I'm like, what does that mean? And then when they got serious about talking about adopting me as a full-fledged tribal member, they wanted me to be able to go to the clinic. They wanted me to be able to get medical treatment. So they were going to adopt, just like if any of them was to adopt a child in any other form or fashion, that child would be able to get the benefits or whatever. It was really a sweet gesture. But I finally figured out why they were calling me token. I was the only blonde-headed, blue-eyed being in the building. I was their token white person. So that way they said that keeps them legal, and it shows they're unbiased about who they employ by having token.
Oh, I see.
I was oh my God. I didn't get it all that time. And I'm a South Park fan. I never got it until I got it. Then I wasn't white anymore. I was beet red. I blended in more.
Right.
Yeah. But what was your question? I'm sorry, Hebrew.
Well, Michelle, I don't know. That flew out the window a long time ago, that question.
Oh, food, man. They're talking about food.
But you're talking about food. There's something very interesting. We're going to switch gears here. Talk about food for a second. You're well aware of Star Trek, the Star Trek Utopia, and the whole Star Trek lore, and all the inventions that they have and stuff like that.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Well, I don't know if this was discussed on the original show, but in Next Generation, they have food replicators, and basically you can tell the computer whatever you want.
Indian taco right now, please. Thank you. And it would make it, and I would have it.
Right, and it tastes exactly like regular food. Like you can't even tell the difference between that and something that is actual organic, like real food, like food. And but it was all replicated through some kind of scientific jargon, transport beam, blah blah blah. But anyway, me and Sadji was talking backstage, and he was telling me about a sort of food replicator, which is in the form of 3D printing. that we someday, very soon in the near future, we'll be able to 3D print our food. We'll be able to print out our food just as we're able to print out, masks and tires and like different things, I guess.
Hey, bro. Hey, bro. Control your chat room.
What's going on here?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Oh,
yeah, replicators. Okay, replicators. Food. I want an Indian taco and some fried bread on the side, please.
Bing. There you go. No. But sad,
paper.
Yeah, but and then things could go wrong though. Like you end up ordering a glass of orange juice, and then the glass would be all twisted and have a hole in your glass, and then the orange juice would taste like milk or something. That's a possibility. But getting back to the 3D print,
only in the beginning, right? Once they master it, it'll be orange juice every time.
Well, I don't know. But in Preliminal says printed replicated food, and Saji sort of came across this. Did you come across an article that you can read to us live on air or something?
Preliminal.
Yeah, I was just now trying to look it up. I found one, but making a long story short, you guys know how 3D printers work, right? Are you familiar with the 3D printing concept in general?
Jeff, what's his name? Jeff Dunham. I've watched him use those all the time. It's pretty amazing. I mean, they can't do massive projects unless you've got a massive printer, but what he makes, they're pretty awesome.
Well, basically, you take that and instead of an ink cartridge, like you would use to print something, they actually have cartridges that contain basic proteins and fatties and acids and tissue and organic tissue, and people actually can. The cartridges can actually print. Yeah, they can actually print a steak, and it replicates a steak.
What if your food comes out talking to you?
Huh?
I mean, the way you're describing it, it may come out talking to you.
Well, I mean, if you want a New York strip, you have to have a template for a New York strip. If you want a ribeye, someone has to create a template for a ribeye. You actually have to have a real ribeye. You have to scan it and take a sample of it so that the computer or the AI can get an idea of, it's composite, to try to closely replicate it as possible with these so-called protein pack cartridges, and then it literally tries to print and replicate the ribeye or the New York strip
already when they're doing meat rolls.
Yeah, they've actually just made they actually have a working 3D printer with templates, but the business model isn't to sell you the meat. It is to come up with a kitchen appliance, basically, that every homeowner can have in their own house with their own cartridges. So basically, you could be like, honey, I want to throw some steaks on the grill when I get home. Can you go ahead and print up 3 ribeyes and 2 New York strips? And go ahead and print up about 10 hot dogs too while you're at it. And so somebody at home is printing up what's going on the grill tonight while Dad's up at the Home Depot picking up some charcoal and a new grill. And you come home and you throw those bad boys on. I don't know. Yeah.
You still have to cook them.
Yeah, I want it to come out cooked. I want it done.
Oh,
on Star Trek, it come out.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I mean, but I can see what you're saying. Like a food replicator would have all of these different like tubes or whatever that would be their ink to build it. But I'd have to look at Jeff because he shows his, and they look like ink, but then it makes a steel object.
3D printers can use different. They're usually some form of plastic
Right.
or a hard, like kind of like that kind of plastic they make decks
Craig
out
has
of.
a good question, Saji.
Yeah,
He wants to know would it replicate the nutrients?
Yes and no. It won't. It does. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be the same as Mother Nature would it. But yeah, I mean, it will have a certain level of protein, a certain level of fat, a certain level of. It will meet your dietary needs. I guess that's yet to be determined.
Okay, someone here is thinking about chocolate shake. It's replicating on the kitchen counter. Anyone too, please. Thank you.
Well, here's the thing, man. Yeah, I want it to be already cooked and done, just like on Star Trek, like Michelle said. But I guess that technology is kind of out of our reach right now. But I will say this though. I will say this.
Psychic replicants.
It's kind of cool when you stop and think about all the predictions that Gene Roddenberry has made has come to pass. You know, like cell phones and FaceTime and what's the other one? I can't think right now, and I know everything about Star Trek. I'll think of it here in a second, but all of this stuff, all the technology that he has predicted, that he has written to show, has all come to pass so far. And I'm just waiting for the holodeck. That's what I was trying to think of a while ago. I'm just trying to a time when we could program our own fantasies into a computer and make them into reality, which actually was one of my working theories as to why the Mandela effect was happening, is because somebody somewhere had already invented a holodeck and was putting all of these false realities into our real reality. I know that seems like a far-fetched theory, but hey, that's why they call them theories, you know?
Can you play that clip I just posted in Hebrew Crew? I heard it ding.
Oh, did you send a clip of some sort?
Yeah, I talked about it before the show. If you could play that real quick, it kind of applies to our conversation.
All right, let me take the cat video down, and let me get in here. I have to click twice. Oh, there's the Hebrew Crew. Okay. And Michelle, I thought I added you to the Hebrew Crew. I do apologize for that.
I think you tried. I didn't understand what it was, and I didn't go in. You invited me somewhere, and you said, there's a bunch of us in here. Come in here. And I was like, I'm so tired. I didn't know what it was. And so I didn't go. And then in the meantime, lots of conversation has taken place in between. So if you could send it again, that'd be awesome. You know, whenever you got time, not in the middle of your show, of course.
Well, of course. But here we go. I got this thing up the clip. Oh, it's only 1 minute and 11 seconds.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I think we can manage that. Let me rewind it a little bit.
Try to full screen it if you can.
Oh yeah, that probably would be a good idea. All right, there we are. Let me rewind this back just 2 seconds. Okay, you see, I could see we were getting a Matrix type screen. Oh, this is from the Matrix. Okay.
We have a deal, Mr. Reagan. You know, I know this steak doesn't exist. I know that when I put it in my mouth, the Matrix is telling my brain that it is juicy and delicious. After 9 years, you know what I realized? Ignorance is bliss.
That's the truth.
Then we have a deal. I don't want to remember nothing. Nothing. You understand? I don't want to be rich.
Yeah. Can you skip forward past this? I don't want you to get copyright either.
Yeah, you could just pause it now. We're done. You got the gist of it.
Right.
Use anything over 20 seconds. Just be careful. That's all.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Well, we were kind of talking over where I was. I don't know.
No, I mean that was the gist of it. I mean, and that's what it really boils down to. I mean, if you're okay with that, if, you know, the simulated steak, if
Thank
your
you.
brain believes it's real and and it meets your dietary needs, no, at least no cow died, right?
Thank you, Dad. GPK, by the way. Thank you, because I was just flowing along with it, and if
I'm being
anything,
facetious, but
we're family, and we don't want anything to happen to anybody's platform because, we get different things from different places and different information and different topics, and it's important that we're diverse enough, but we have the unity in diversity, and that we can bring forward. And we don't want anybody's platforms going down over stupid stuff like that. So I just want to make sure that I showed some gratitude for you bringing that up. Hey, you know what, Hebrew?
Huh.
This time I won't take it away from you. You got a lot more people in your room. You wanna say hello to all your awesomeness people?
Oh,
I
sure.
can't do it. 'Cause Long Reach one is like, she's really jabbing at me, trying to just. She's gonna get me laughing, and I won't be able to stop. So
Oh, I see.
yeah, she's doing. She's
Yeah,
doing a number.
we can do one last shout out before we go off the air, if that's cool.
You're not gonna open the phones?
Well, yeah, I mean, I can open the phones, but let me just go ahead and give this room.
No, it's up to you, hon.
But I also have one more thing I wanted to bring up before
Let him do that first. Go ahead.
But if you want to do a shout out, I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, it only take a second. You got 11.
Small.
11.
Let me scroll down here. We got preliminal Long Reach one. Sorry about that. Dead GPK. Another late night was here earlier. Michael Fontaine is here.
Michael Fontaine. All right.
She's just muted up.
I know. She's just
my
sitting
God.
there.
I got stuck. I was stuck in cyberspace. Okay. Michael Fontaine?
Yep. Michael Fontaine.
Michael Fontaine. I like that. That shtick never gets old. Let's see here. Scrolling down. We have Wake and Activate, Sagittariusly Speaking 78, and of course some dodgy guy with a sword and big muscles and blonde hair. I don't know who that idiot is, but anyway. And and there's a giant taco in here too somewhere. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all of the shout out. Because
updated shout out. Yeah.
Even though there's 11 people watching, only those many people are talking. Like what, 5 people?
It's a busy room though.
Oh, it is.
You got a good crowd. They're active.
I'd rather have an active, smaller crowd than an unactive, large crowd. How about that?
Yes.
Yes. And so you guys familiar with this whole Kim Jong-un disappeared off the face of the earth there for a little while? All the speculation that he may have had surgery and died and all this stuff. Are you guys up on this story? Are you familiar with it?
Yes, and I heard they have an update on him.
Yeah, well, he had an appearance the other day. He just, popped up out of the blue and showed up at a opening for a fertilizer factory, and just out of the blue, yeah, they were opening a new fertilizer factory, and he decided to show up and cut the ribbon.
He belongs there. I'll say that much. Okay, go ahead.
What's so funny?
Well, because
because he's manufacturing BS.
Right. But go on. They had a
All right.
ribbon
Well,
cutting ceremony
you
for
know, you know me. I'm never one to let a good conspiracy theory slip past me.
Oh, I know. One
so
tried to the other day, but its sneakers were too loud as it was walking across your conspiracy hardwood floor.
well, the best thing to do is make sure you have plenty of aluminum foil in place so that you hear the aluminum foil crinkle as people walk over it.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Yeah,
Well,
you aluminum foil your entire floor, you won't have that problem.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
the New York Post put out a story today, 8:31 a.m. this morning, that apparently Kim Jong Un photos that were taken during his coming out of nowhere public debacle, let's just call it. Well, anyway, make a long story short, photos of the North Korean dictator Kim Jong Un at this public event have sparked wild theories that it could have been a body double. Yeah, a body double. State-run media on Saturday released images and video of the 36-year-old Hermit Kingdom. I love how they always refer to it as the Hermit Kingdom. The Hermit Kingdom leader at a ribbon-cutting function, dispelling escalating rumors that he was either dying or even already dead. The photos have instead raised suspicion that a look-alike could have been there in his place, with web sleuths noting discrepancies in facial hairline and dental features when compared with previous appearances. It is a well-known fact that Kim uses body doubles. The International Business Times says the Sun in 2017 posted video seemingly showing the dictator chatting with some of his body doubles. And human rights advocate Jennifer Zhang was the first to draw attention to the dissimilarities between the two versions of Kim, including differences in their teeth and ears. Is Kim Jong-un appearing on May the 1st the real one? She asked on Twitter, along the side-by-side comparisons of Kim's old and new appearances in two separate posts. The possibility soon spread across the quote-unquote netosphere, with many sharing side-by-side photos seemingly highlighting differences. And apparently there's some type of chip in his incisor that is a definite giveaway. That Kim Jong-un is not known for. So is he really dead? Is he?
Hold on.
Why the body? Why the body double? And
Incisor tooth? Are you talking about a chip in his?
Yeah,
okay,
his incisor tooth has a chip in it.
I had to step away for a second. Did you talk about the mark on his wrist?
Yes, and the mark on his wrist. All of that was in speculation. And his hairline is apparently different. And
the mark on his wrist is from an IV.
Yes, that's what their speculation is. It looks like a IV mark from where he may have recently.
It looks identical to an IV where they would run a line for him. Yes.
Yeah.
He may have had some medical problems and
right.
Yeah,
but if that was a body double,
why would he have an IV line?
Yeah.
Exactly. You're a crafty one, aren't you? I like
so
your mind.
I just thought I would share the story. I'm not saying that it is or that it wasn't. I'm not saying I buy into it. I just think that it's something interesting to ponder. Because, there is this, I can see a scenario where maybe he is, can you imagine what kind of power struggle would be in play to be the next leader of that country? I mean, I know that he has a sister that kind of would be somebody to take over. I know he still has an uncle that could kind of make a claim for the bloodline rights or whatever. So anyway, I mean, I could see that how there could be some type of incentive to try to convince people that he is still alive if he's not, or that he is well if he's not. I'm not saying that is what's happening. I'm just saying it's kind of interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. I think it's going to be I think there's going to be more to the story to come out as days go on. Something worth paying attention to. That's all I'm saying. Any
And
thoughts, guys?
What's interesting is these players, these actors, they are filmed so much. And we know from editing, and there's a lot of content creators that are actually, chatting it up right now. Through editing, you can move his hairline or you can adjust this. I mean, there's so much you can do to make somebody look a little different if you wanted to.
And not
Now-
to mention the fact that you can see so much detail in these high detail images and HD screens and HD cameras. Back in the day, you could slip by with maybe a body double or a lookalike. Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you though, when people can now take a photo or an image, even a video, and they can pull apart the layers and they can see where people have added or adjusted these people are on camera so much that it wouldn't take much to even make a whole different conversation by just taking little bits and seaming them all together as a stream, making a totally different sentence from maybe 20 conversations they had in front of different press or whatever over the past.
Like, haven't you heard Donald Trump saying Old Town Road based off of all his voice analysis or whatever? Stuff like that,
Really?
right? Yeah, they got crazy stuff like that.
Nice. Okay. That's all I had to say.
How about you there, Hebrew, in the captain's seat?
He is the captain of this ship.
I
You're
gotta
showing
tell you-
really well. I'm having a good time. You got 12 people enjoying your Taco Tuesday, Cinco de Mayo, 5/5/2020. Lucky numbers. I don't know if they're lucky numbers, but they are definitely repetitive numbers.
Well, I got to tell you, here as you were talking, Saji, about Kim Jin Lu or Lu Zhu Ki,
Kim Jong Young.
we had sort of a pop-up storm just now pop up in my area. I don't know what the heck's going on because we're not receiving any weather alerts from our local station. So that's kind of weird, but
Is this a bit?
I just want everybody to know that, there's thunder, there's lightning, there's strong winds coming in. And
Do you have your thunder, buddy?
well, no.
Oh no.
I gotta tell you, I need one of those, but it is weird that our local station's not broadcasting any alerts or anything. So I guess that's just gonna pass over, but just let you know in case we go dead. Not we go dead, but that we go off the air.
I know what you mean. So, any thoughts on this whole Kim Jong Un body double thing? You think that you got anything you want to say about it?
Well, I don't, but I will say this. Anything's possible. Like Michelle said, she was talking about there's a lot of things with technology that they can do. They can CGI things onto him and
You think they use the 3D printer to recreate him?
yeah, maybe maybe it wouldn't be hard to do. He looks like fake plastic anyway.
Yeah.
Just saying,
If all the people to make a template of, he would probably be on a short list, somewhere behind Abraham Lincoln and Thomas Jefferson, right?
But
Never mind. All right. So with that being said, do you have anything else you want to, that was it. That was the last thing I wanted to bring up. Unless you want to talk about the murder hornet.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing that came up this week is the murder hornets.
Yes.
Like-
he is out to commit murder.
Yeah.
Hornet.
Oh,
Huh?
hey, just wanted to say real fast, Lotar 900 just came in. So,
Well, all right, Lotar 900.
And Dead GPK is back active in the chat.
awesome. No,
Awesome.
the murder hornets. Yeah, there's just one more thing that we need right now is freaking murderous hornets. They say it came in from what country was it they came in from?
Brazil.
Brazil. Yeah. Isn't that the same place where the killer bees came from?
I don't know. I'm looking up an article on it now. It's been all over the news. Should be easy to find.
Seems
And
like
nobody really seems.
Brazil has a lot of killer insects there. You know, it's like they just want to keep sending killer shit our way for some reason. Just saying.
Yeah, apparently it came from. Actually, it came from Asia. Can you hear me? Okay.
Oh yeah.
The Asian giant. Oh man, pop
Oh,
up. Hold on a second.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the Asian. It came over with the COVID virus. You know. The giant hornet. I'm just kidding. The Asian giant hornet is a big, mean-looking insect. He's big and he's mean. He's got a stinger like you've never seen, with a potent sting. And their queens can grow to be up to 2 inches long. That's right. I said it. 2 inches. And their quarter-inch stingers can pierce normal beekeeping attire. You know, not the heavy-duty beekeeping attire, mind you, but the normal stuff. Yeah, they get right through that.
I thought
They,
this was 12 inches. That's what I've always been told.
Well, you know, guys are always trying to convince women that this is 6 inches, but it really is only 4. Just saying.
It's 12. No, it's 2. No, it's 12. Okay, go ahead. No, okay.
They
So this
were
is a real
also-
bug. This is a real bug that that is now that it's like stack, all this stuff.
Yeah, can you bring up an image of it, Hebrew? I'm sure you can Google murder hornet and bring up a couple pictures while I go over this.
Well, okay.
Well, no, I'll grab it for you, Hebrew. You just chill. I'll go grab it. And what's it called? What's the exact
Murder hornet.
mother hornet?
Murder. Like
okay.
Ja Rule. It's murder.
Ooh, I just bit my tongue.
The 4 confirmed. Okay, there's been 4 confirmed sightings. So you know, just like anything else, we have an outbreak. It's a hornet demic because you know there's there's been 4 confirmed sightings. We probably should just shut down beehives all across the country immediately, just to protect them. But as their name suggests, the hornets are native to Asia, but at the tail end of 2019, they were seen in North America for the first time. The 4 confirmed sightings of the Asian hornet in the United States, along with 2 more in Canada, occurred in 2019 between September and December. The American sightings were all of the individual hornets, but in September, a nest was found. I lost my thought. I lost my spot. Hold on. Oh, man. Okay, so anyway, the giant killer hornet basically can decimate a beehive in a matter of hours, just a small amount of them. They have a mandible on the front of them, like a jaw, like you can imagine, like on a beetle, where they literally can just rip the heads off of honeybees and then fly back to their nest with the rest of the body, leaving the decapitated head laying there in front of the beehive, and then carry the decapitated torso back to their hive for their village to feast on them, basically. And they could just shred through a beehive in a matter of hours. So they're kind of a big deal. there's a video here on this particular one. I will. Oh, I was going to share it.
All right.
Do you have something already up, Michelle?
Boy, these things look.
I sent it to Hero.
All right. Well, I'm pretty much done. I mean, I'm sure people know how to look it up for themselves if they're interested.
I sent it. There's a whole bunch of them on there. He's got it. There they are.
Look at this one here, man. Hold on, let me get my scroller.
They almost don't even look real. Doesn't it almost look like
this one here looks evil.
Yeah.
Looks mean.
Like he's got those Spider-Man eyes. But more like what's the bad guy? The black version of him?
Venom.
Venom, yeah, he looks like Venom. Venom eyes. They are some big boys, though. I wouldn't want to catch up to a whole bunch of those guys in a dark alley.
Well, look at him compared to the size of the finger. I mean, he's huge.
Granted, now keep in mind there's only been 4 confirmed sightings, but what they're afraid of is going to happen is like a lot of these other Asian insects that come across, that what ends up happening is we don't put an end to them right away when we first see them, and then they establish a good foothold, and then once they establish a good foothold, it's going to be next to impossible to stop them. And if they actually, I think it's Washington State where they've been seen the most.
Now,
once they take a foothold and they start working themselves across the nation, and they really are a threat to the honeybee, that could be a real threat for us. I mean, I'm sure everybody here knows how vital the honeybee is to pollinating crops and things of that nature.
What is this? We're switching one bug for another?
no, that's the same. That's the murder hornet right there.
No, I mean,
Well, no, this thing.
Oh,
Yeah, but this thing is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's not going to go out and pollinate like a normal honeybee does. Though he's just going. He's out to find bees. That he lives off of the carcasses of bees. He don't like to go smell flowers.
Well, the thing is here, Sadie and Michelle. The thing is, when I first read about this,
we're going by first names now.
Huh?
We're going by first names now.
Well, no, I mean,
I'm messing with you.
You're always Michelle.
Always, thank you.
You're always Michelle. But no, these murder hornets, when I first heard about them, I thought that they killed people, much like the killer bees like to kill people. But it said here that they don't actually go anywhere near humans. They just kill other insects like bees and bugs, like Saji was talking about.
Do they kill flies?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean,
they're aggressive, and they want to take over other bee type insect territories. They seek out other hives to dismantle them. They basically are an eradication force. They want control of the skies. Wherever they reside. Yeah.
Who do
I
these
will
bugs
say this.
represent? Right?
What?
Who do these bugs represent? What's the symbology there?
Yeah, I know, right?
We get rid of this virus, and then these bugs, they're now manifesting, and guess what? They're going to get their butts handed to them. So, hey, I'm all for it. Bring it on. I got a swatter.
Well, now the thing is, I think one of the big threats is our honeybees are already endangered, and now all of a sudden you got all these hornets swooping in, starting to kill our honeybees. Now, what's going to become of them?
You said become of them. That was clever.
Yeah.
You also have to remember that bees are also kept. So there are so many places that actually manufacture honey, and they have, you know, these huge bee, you know, they put them in their little bee box or whatever, and they're protected. So it's not like,
Well, see, that's just it. That's the first article I found, Michelle, was a beekeeper went back to his keep and saw all of his bees were dead, and he couldn't figure out why. So he got online looking for potential things
Found
that
that
could have
hornet?
caused it. Yeah, and he came across images of the murder hornet and found out that there was a sighting about 7 miles from where his beekeep is.
when I went to look for it, I did see that they were spotted in. There is a small area in North America where they've spotted a few. So, but okay, so now the beekeepers are aware of it. So what are they going to do? They're going to protect their bees.
Right.
So, you know, some of these things, but I just am looking at what does that thing represent to me? Well, it's them showing themselves for what they truly are, and then they're going to be like pushed out of the way. Done. Leave us alone. Let us, you know, let us inhabit, be free, you know, have our rights of being sovereign, critical thinkers, allowed to create. If we want to paint, play the piano, whatever we want to do for a living, to give us the rights that we're born with the choices that we're allowed to make to determine our path that we're going to walk, as long as it's not encroaching on somebody else.
Holy
That's
crap.
the difference between us and them. They encroached their will upon us. We don't even think like that. I don't understand somebody's thinking
Well,
when they do that to other people.
right. That's what I was getting ready to say. Some of us do, but not all of us. But I mean, there are some of us that are sort of like murder hornets, where we just kind of barge into someone's house and kill them and take all their food.
A giant with the big old rock bowl, and he already broke all the china like 10,000 years ago.
Yeah.
It's sad. She's like, "What are you
You know-
talking about? I don't know what you're talking about."
Well, there was one other thing I wanted to say.
Wait, before you say that real quick, I wonder if now that you've mentioned that food printer, maybe they'll start replicating honey now.
Yeah.
We still love our bees, though. Bees do a lot more than just make honey.
Well, that's true.
They,
Yeah.
our flowers don't bloom without the pollination, the cross pollination. The bees are going to be fine. They're going to be okay. I end up getting a whole slew of them at the same time of year. Every year, I've got this one bush, and we have to like trim it all the way down to its nub. And I accused my husband. I said, "You cut it down so much, you just done killed it." And he's like, "No, I didn't watch." And I'm like, "It's dead." I mean, it was like just like stems. That thing came back fuller than it was before, and it just overgrows and gets into our driveway, and the bees just love it. They never sting us. They just hang out in there, and they're happy as a clam.
Well,
And then
I'll tell you, it's funny you should share that story, because I did that with a tree that was in my mother-in-law's yard. It wasn't a tree; it was like a big nuisance. Basically, it was hanging over a house, and then the branches were sticking way out and starting to crawl up the window and the roof and whatever. And my wife said, "Well, why don't you go ahead and trim that down?" And I trimmed it down all right. I trimmed it down to nearly the ground, man. And the mother-in-law was a little upset. "Oh, you killed my tree or whatever." Well, no, I said, "You just watch now. Next year it'll grow up and it'll come back, as often things do. As long as you don't pull it, as long as it's got strong roots and you don't pull it up by its roots, it will grow. It will grow back. And like you said, and in some cases be stronger than before. And that's just like when you shave and then your beard grows twice as thick. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Can I read a comment that Luthar 900 said? He said that that is also a false lie. Click on the internet that bees are being endangered. I'm sorry. It is absolutely untrue. I'm going to have to say I agree with him 100% because I've heard this over and over again. But then everywhere I go, I see bees doing what bees do, cross-pollinating flower to flower, and everything, is growing and blooming, and we've always got fresh honey. So
Yeah. And then
we
you know
do-
what?
we-
You know, kind of like
3 or
I-
4 years.
I think that's kind of one of those recycled alarmist stories. Kind of like asteroid approaches our atmosphere. A new virus is seen in Malaysia. New threat to the bees of our country. It's like every so often, I'm trying to think of the guy that Peter Parker works for at the Daily Bugle.
Jonah Jameson.
Jonah Jameson slamming his fist. We need something to sell some headlines. Oh, how about we run another threat to the bee story, Jameson? Yeah, you're on it. I want a threat to the bees on my desk by 6 p.m. I mean, I really do kind of think it works that way.
Yeah,
And it's up to us
they
to remember.
over-exaggerate it. Yeah.
We need to remember that these things, they run in cycles like that. Some of them are just so repetitive that it's like, oh, come on, not this one again. And then they'll throw in a new one, or an exaggerated form of one, or just a slight difference of one. And then we pick up on those too. They think we're idiots. We're not. And we're not going to act out of our own nature, our human nature towards one another, because they're trying to push us into being, barbaric and like what is that one with Tina Turner, the Thunderdome? We're not going to take that route. That's not who we are as a people. I have not met people that are just out only for themselves. Most people are taking care of their families, their loved ones. Some take care of their parents. Different circumstances, different situations, grandparents, aunts, uncles, whatever. But their nature is love. It's a nurturing nature. It's a caring for one another. It's not a self-serving. It just isn't. People are not by nature that way. And yeah, you do run into the occasional narcissistic type of a personality. And when you do, you know what? You have your sovereignty. Walk away. Don't stay at that party too long.
Right. Guys, it just got about 20 degrees cooler. I swear it. We were running our air conditions like an hour or so ago, and now the temperature just dropped. I mean, it came on all at once, and then all of a sudden it left just as quick as it came on. It's like, oh, okay. Well,
Okay. You're in Illinois?
And yes.
Do you have weather phenomena like that often? Is
Well,
that a normal thing for that area?
No. Well, I mean, we have a saying in southern Illinois that if you don't like the weather, just wait. That's our saying. So
Wait, how long?
10 minutes, 20
Oh,
minutes.
okay. All right.
Yeah, it changes drastically. I'm sorry, Michelle, what now?
That's when we lived in Oklahoma, that was the same thing. I mean, we would have a tornado, this horrible thunderstorm. 15 minutes later, the sun's out and we're grabbing the boat and my brother's taking us out to the lake. I mean, that's how flippant the weather is there. It's like, just wait a few minutes. The tornado's going to pass, the thunderstorm's going to, we'll go out on the boat. Let's go. It's like, okay. And that's really how it was there. It just changed on a dime. Okay, what's the chat got? Okay, Luther said, okay, wait. A lot of people are preaching the untruth. Please do not watch CNN because they lie to everyone worldwide. Yeah, well, a lot of the media, they push a narrative, and a lot of times it doesn't matter which channel you turn it to.
They
You guys
all have. I
saying
mean,
the
they
same
all like to sprinkle in a light dusting of truth with a whole bunch of bullshit.
But a lot of them are like saying the
Well,
same
you gotta-
stories, the same language with the same words, just like blah blah, just a different person saying those lines.
You gotta have
Oh, yeah.
fertilizer to grow. You gotta have fertilizer to grow weeds. So that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to one channel, and I'm not going to name names or because I think we all know who does what.
Well, you know,
But-
before you say that real quick, though, I just want to say I think CNN is the worst of them. I will say that.
They are definitely they're the ones that were caught trying to make it look like they were in the Gulf War doing live broadcasting, and they were on a fake Gilligan's Island set.
Yeah.
Is he the one with the short, like, and the black glasses? Is that CNN? That guy drives me nuts.
Huh?
One of the news anchors or whatever.
Well, how did you describe him?
He has like black framed, thick framed, this like white, platinum white hair. It's like
Anderson Cooper?
I can't remember what his name is.
I think you're talking about Anderson Cooper.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bingo. Is that CNN?
Yep.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Very sure.
Yeah, I'm with you again, Luther. Yeah.
Now I will say this, and I know Sadji had something to say, and I'm sorry if I interrupted.
Oh, go ahead. I always got something to say, but if you got something to say, that's a lot more substantial. Let's hear what you got to say.
Well, no, there, you know, the one I like to watch is Fox News, and I'll tell you this: a lot of people might put a thumb to Fox News, but
you like the lies they tell you better. So like when you're watching Fox News, do you sing like the Eminem song? I love the way you lie, Fox News.
Well, no, let me reiterate that statement. Is some of the reporters on Fox News who actually use their own brains, I don't like the entire channel. I think it's all crap like the rest of them, but I do agree with a lot of the other reporters, like I said, who use their own brains and they don't try to spread lies and fear mongering. You know, in fact,
yeah, I'm with you.
In fact, not a lot of them, but a couple of them actually try to tell the truth, and they try to they point out the bullshit. They point out the fear mongering. So I will say that much, and that is just my opinion. But you know, go on, Mr. Sadji McGladgy.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I probably, if I had to pick one that I could digest a little bit easier than others, I would say Fox News probably makes that list. But to be honest with you, small doses even for that particular establishment, because they all are owned. All the media is owned by one of four different companies. Yeah, if it's a television station and it's reporting news, it's either owned by Disney, Paramount, Google, and I forget the fourth one, but they're all owned by one of those four companies, and they all are going to tell you what they're all reading a narrative that they're told to say, with very few exceptions, far and few between. But you got to at least turn it on for a little bit once in a while, because you want to know what the heck they're telling everybody to believe, right?
Yeah, you want to know why everybody's acting nuts.
Yeah, because you don't want to go out in this cool world and be uninformed on at least what the general consensus is, because, you know, even though you might not buy into it, you at least got to know what all these crazy people running around you think the truth is.
Well,
if we were able to take the news back, you know, and have it back to where it was like, and it was an integrity job. You protected your sources, and when you gave your story, you didn't give it with any kind of agenda or partial. You gave both sides of the story unbiasedly, not trying to promote either side or the other. You just gave it, and you allowed the viewer to take in the facts that you have presented and critically think and make their own decision on the news that you reported to them. Instead of saying, you know, oh my gosh, you know, this happened, and we find out this lady stuck up police tape and she's standing in front of it to make a report, and then somebody's on a cell phone behind her recording her making a fake prop out of a fence with her caution tape, police tape, right? And then saying that this event happened. So that way, and then the next thing is, okay, we're going to take your guns. So it's, so she has an agenda for her story, and you're only going to hear what she wants, and she's going to slant it to what is going to appeal to your heart, or, to get you to go along with whatever she's trying to promote. I want the news back with with the integrity of the reporters, having their sources, checking their facts, and just reporting it without any slant on it. Let us make that determination.
Almost all reporting done by reporters now is they are just copying, pasting things off of the Associated Press wire. There's a wire that goes through that puts out basically today's headlines. And it's mostly AI generated, which is a very sad state of affairs in itself, but not 100%. And then everybody just copies and pastes and paraphrases the AP headline. No, there's very few reporters that work in a NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox studio that actually get down, go, or even in your local affiliates that get in their car, go drive to an actual and confirm anything with a real person who was actually there to know what really happened. That kind of reporting is considered archaic, ancient. How neat, what? I'll have the answer in 5 seconds. I'll just Google it and get on Wikipedia and check the AP. There, I got my story. By the time somebody else drives to go verify something with an actual person who was actually there, the other network already beat you to it because they just use Wikipedia, Google, and a AP wire. So it really is a sad state of affairs the way the news is. I remember back in the day you would actually want to hear what Dan Rather or Tom Brokaw or somebody. Yeah, so one of these guys wanted to tell you tonight, and there was going to be some substance to it. Granted, it was still kind of like on a third grade reading level, the way they disseminated the information to you. But at least you got to you got to apply some discernment, and you got to it didn't feel like it was all red pill or blue pilled out.
I don't think it was at a third grade level at that time. Because there were, like I said, there was integrity. There were, there was credentials, there was fact checking, there was actual, when something was called a certain term, they called it that certain term. If you didn't know when you got done watching the news, you go look it up. You know what I mean? I think, and this is what I've heard and that I've seen, but then again, you never know. But when 60 Minutes came out, and it was kind of more of an opinion type news show, it turned a profit. When it turned a profit, then all of every TV station did have to have a news outlet. They had to have a news program, but it was always a money loser. But when they saw that they actually turned a profit and had advertisers and sponsors and all this stuff going on, it shifted, it changed, and it has went nowhere except for further and further down. Now it's being used as a propaganda machine, a tool of control. Instead of informing us of what's really going on, we look at it like, we're cross-eyed now looking at it saying, is this true? I mean, what message are you trying to steer me towards?
Not to mention that it's on 24 hours a day, and they actually put they've done a lot of research on how to make sure they use keywords and they literally repeat a rotation, just like a radio station has a rotation of songs that they're going to play for the rest of the afternoon. They're going to make sure they play this song 5 times, this song 4 times, this song 8 times, this song 10 times. They're going to make sure that you get the message drilled into your head repetitively all day. And by the end of the day, whether you believed it at lunchtime or not, you're definitely going to believe it by the time you sit down for dinner. It really is that way. It's crazy. I can't believe how many people still not only watch it so like long term, but just believe everything they see. I mean, you would think that people, I remember when I was young, well, it has to be true. It was on the internet. That was, kind of like the facetious thing you would say with, in air quotes, or, well, it was on TV, so it has to be true, right? I mean, come on, guys. I mean, I don't know. I digress. I could go on and on and on.
It was sort of a joke that would go on. It was like, well, if it's on the internet, it must be true, But I do want to address something real quick here. I had it on screen there for a while, but took it down. Lotar 900 says, and this is going from one extreme to another, by the way. Security guard was shot in shopping mall due to a customer not wearing a mask. The customer shot him directly in between the eyes. Wow.
Yep.
That's a sad state of affairs there, brother, when you getting shot over not wearing a mask, or not getting shot in an argument of not wearing a mask. Like
over whether or not a person has a mask on. It's not worth all that, my friend.
Where did you see that, Luthar? So we can check it out. Do you remember?
Yeah.
He can't leave us a link or nothing.
Oh yeah, that's true. But he can say
Send
where.
Send us in a direction.
But we do still have the requirement law. That you have to wear a mask before you go into Kroger or to a gas station or this and that. I've got a question for you guys. How strong is your laws right now as far as the whole mask thing goes? Do you see a whole lot of people wearing masks when you go to the store? I'll ask this to each one of you at a time. I guess.
Well, I found the story. If you want me to cover it.
Oh yeah, sure. But I just
let's answer this question first, and then because the story will stay, you won't forget that. So, right?
All right. So yeah, people were definitely wearing masks down here. The last time I was out, I was looked at cross-eyed for not wearing one. I literally couldn't get home fast enough. It felt very awkward because I was the only person out without a mask on. I really did feel like I was like going to somebody was going to either say something or I was going to get in some type of I felt like I was drawing unnecessary negative attention to myself being the only person out without a mask.
Here it is still it's not mandatory, and I occasionally will run into somebody wearing a mask. Not it's not a big issue.
Okay.
So
I'm not going to wear a mask. I don't. If it comes down to I can't go to the bank because I don't have a mask on, then I'm just going to use the drive-through. I'm not going to submit to a mask.
Well, the masks are a problem because when you're putting that over your face, you're breathing back in your exhale. So you're not getting proper oxygen. And like for myself, I'm allergic to a lot of the materials that are in the mask, like the little strip of metal that goes over your nose. Yeah. I'm allergic to metals.
Well,
I can't have metal against my skin. Okay. I break out in hives. My tongue will swell up. My throat will swell shut. So I can't have that. And also the cotton, the fibers, for some reason, if I inhale them and exhale the fibers from those masks, it just, I cannot do it. That will drive me crazy. I will feel like I'm suffocating having that. I need good oxygen. I need to be able to breathe in and breathe out without it getting captured and going back in, so I would have a problem with wearing these masks. Now, if you will allow me, while he's reading that, I will go and find something and share it on a mask that I probably could wear. My husband would have to furnish the supplies for me, and we can share that if you would like.
Yeah.
It's just not going to have my voice. It doesn't matter though. They're going to get the point. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's so creative and funny, and it's so much your humor with your creativity. So
Let me ask you this real quick, Michelle. So the metal part goes on your nose.
yeah, because you can bend it down. You
Oh.
want it to bend down. You don't want air coming
Okay.
through. It's supposed to make sure that you see the people are making the ones with the cloth and stuff.
Mhm.
It's form fitting around their face, and then they wrap it around their ears. But the elastic that you wrap around your ears, it's got that Band-Aid glue stuff inside of the elastic stuff. Okay, I'm allergic to that too.
Oh, wow.
So I would not be able to. I just couldn't do it.
Mhm.
I couldn't do it.
No,
So
I've been wearing mine upside down. Apparently, I thought the middle strip was for ventilating your air.
well, you know what? You're probably smart because you were getting more oxygen than everybody else. I'm just saying.
No,
But
no, I feel like a big stupid dummy now.
no, you're funny. You're funny. But I'm gonna go pull that up and have that ready to go as soon as Sagi's done. If you want to, I mean, it's yours after all. So
Well, I think we are about to wrap it up. So these two last things
right.
should do it. Yeah,
right.
go ahead and
Well, when I get done with that, I have this 8-hour cat video I thought we would play.
sure. Yeah, we'll just kill this whole broadcast. All the
You
work
got
we put in.
While we have still people in the room, please do not forget that we're having the competition. It is sponsored by Lorraine Lamour, and the winner gets $20, and it
25.
is 25. It went up. Draw a picture of what you think Sagi looks like, and then email it in to Hebro. I think he could put his email up for you guys, or maybe it's in the show more notes. So to enter, so you draw what you think Sagi looks like, submit, and then we're going to have a reveal. Sagi's going to come on full camera. We're going to show the entries and vote on which one is the closest to what Sagi looks like, or even maybe even the most creative. I mean, you never know how these kind of things go, but definitely Lorraine Lamour is going to be a judge, of course, I'm sure, right, Hebro? I mean, I'm not trying to step on.
I do believe so. Also, the other side of that contest, there's two parts to it, I think. There's one part where if you've never seen them before, you draw him what you think he looks like, and that winner gets $25. And the winner who actually knows what he looks like or has seen glimpses of him, who does the best drawing, gets $20. That's the second place. Is that right, Saji?
Yeah, that's pretty much the long and the short of it. If you already know what I look like, then you shouldn't compete with the people who don't know. So that's a separate drawing for those who have seen my likeness and still want to compete for a $20 prize. They can do so as well. And also, I wanted to mention that if you're not subscribed to Awaken Activate's channel, on Wednesday nights, we have Michelle and I have started doing a call-in show on Wednesday nights. So subscribe to her channel if you would like to come over and partake in that event with us. I assume we're doing one tomorrow night. So if you're not already subscribed and getting notifications from Michelle's channel, please do Awaken Activate is the channel, and we will be doing a live call-in show tomorrow night. So with that being said, 3 people charged in the killing of a Family Dollar security guard over mask policy. Today's date, May the 5th at 6:22 p.m., the Washington Post is reporting a Family Dollar security guard who was killed in Flint, Michigan on Friday was shot after telling a customer that her child had to wear a face mask to enter the store.
Whoa.
The county prosecutor's office said Monday. The argument began when the security guard told Calvin Munerlin, age 43, told Charmel Lastig, age 45, that customers needed to wear face masks in the store. Genesee County Prosecutor David Leeton said at a news conference Monday, she yelled at him, spit on him, and drove off. Layton said about 20 minutes later, her car returned to the store, and her husband, Larry Edward Teague, 44, and his son, Trevon Bishop, age 23, stepped out and confronted the security guard. According to investigators who spoke to witnesses in the store and reviewed surveillance video, Bishop pulled out a gun and shot the security guard. Obviously, the security guard was doing their job, was just doing what their job is. And Michigan people are required to wear face coverings in grocery stores. Stores can refuse service to anyone not wearing a mask. Now, if you let me ask you this, Hebrew, you're a security guard at Dollar General. A 40-something-year-old lady walks in and her child doesn't have a mask on. Okay, you may say something to her, but are you going to not let her shop because her child doesn't have a mask on? How are you going to approach the situation? You're a security guard. Female walks in with a child and no mask on. Well, how do you handle this situation?
Well, you put me in a tough spot there, brother. But I'm going to tell you what. First of all, why the hell does the Dollar Tree have security guards anyway? What's up with that? I mean, granted, this is probably a bigger city or whatever, but
we're talking Flint, Michigan here, man. This is a very suburban, very urban store.
Wait, is it urban or suburban?
It's more urban than suburban.
Oh, okay, so could you imagine a movie called Urban Commando? Like he walks in, what up, fool? I don't
or Suburban Commando.
Well, yeah, that's what that's what the movie I was spoofing, Suburban Commando.
Oh yeah.
But
okay, I get it. So it's kind of like CB4.
Yeah.
All right, I'm with you. I used to be a market, but the high school, but now I'm hardcore like CB4 fighting. Why you want to be me for?
Oh, that's what you were talking about.
Oh yeah,
CB4. I was thinking of CB4 from Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
But I guess that's not CB4. That's BB8. No. Okay, so I'm a security guard. Oh gosh, I couldn't imagine being a security guard for Dollar Tree. That's just ridiculous right there. But
Dollar General, don't get it twisted, bro.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought you said Dollar Tree.
No, not everything's $1. Some shit you got to actually pay $3-4 for.
Oh, okay. So, it just depends on what situation I'm looking at. Like if I'm put in a position of authority and it's my job to tell people,
the people in this store are counting on you to maintain safe environment for them. And there's a child running amok without a mask on.
Well, see, you put me in an awkward position there because if the company tells me you're supposed to say something to them, I think I would at least say something. But on the other hand, it's a child. It's a child running around. You can understand. You got to be a little bit more understanding if it's a small child. I mean, but it is, however, the parents' responsibility to make sure that's a thing. But at the same time, you don't want to seem like a dickhole and be barking orders at some poor lady with her small child. So that, but at the same time, you're told to do that. So you got to basically, it's either do what you're told or you get fired. I don't know, man.
I think you tase the child, you put them in a shopping cart, and you make them wait outside and tell mom hurry up and get her shit and get the heck out, right?
Right. Yeah, there you go.
All right.
No. Oh boy, is it late.
So you disagree with that method? Okay.
Well, not for real, but for real though. You just got to kind of. I wouldn't yell at them. I wouldn't be like, "Oh, you gotta wear a mask where you come in here, you fascist." I would probably be more like give them a light sort of a gentle reminder, and let them continue to shop. I would think.
Okay. So yeah, I'm with you. I guess it really all like the other day, like when I was out at the store, I didn't need a security guard to come approach me and tell me that I was being socially my behavior was socially unacceptable. It was very apparent to me by the mean evil looks I was getting from all the elderly people, the way the cashier didn't even say good afternoon. No, they just started ringing me up and didn't talk to me as if I was some type of leprosy patient because I didn't have a mask on. I mean, it really was. I really did realize the error of my ways by the time I got back home, and I have to admit I really did feel awkward. I felt like I could end up in some type of altercation or situation. People were that upset about it. So I think that the writing is on the wall. I think that this is going to be the first of many examples of other incidents that are probably going to occur.
You guys, I hope nobody left because you're going to really enjoy this this share. And yeah, you guys, tomorrow night we do have our live call-in show, and I'm trying to do them every Wednesday because hearing from what's going on with you guys and hearing what's going on with us and sharing, and we grow from each other and we learn, and we through other people's experiences and their perceptions, we all glean from each other. And I know that here he also takes in call-ins, and it's really a lot. It's so much more when you engage and talk to people. It's just that much more real, and it is fun. So I wanted to thank you for bringing that up. I do not come over here to promote my channel or anything. It's going to do what it's going to do, but you're all welcome, and you're welcome to call in, share. Awesome. And whenever you're ready, Hebrew, it just sent up some kind of a warning saying that your sound may reverberate through because it's going to come through my speakers so they can hear it. So you may want to mute up when we go when we do it.
Okay. What do we got here? I see our screen or something. Somebody's screen.
Yeah, I put a screen share.
Okay.
And I pulled it up, and it's ready to go. Are we ready to go?
I guess so. So I'm supposed to mute up.
Oh yeah, or just be quiet. Otherwise, it'll revert back. Okay, guys, here we go. Check this out.
Let's start my camera. All right, so you take the underwear. You got underwear like this, and then look. Come through here. And then basically just over the ears, make sure they're tucked in. Tuck it in your shirt.
So if you forget your mask, just go into the
Yeah.
bathroom.
Good. There's good ventilation.
I asked him if he could
Yeah.
breathe. Look at those beautiful blues.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, look.
He's explaining it to
Yeah,
me
they're long leg.
because I wanted to know what kind of chonies they were.
Oh boy. Showing my underwear on air.
But seriously,
Yeah.
if you aren't getting service, go in the restroom, get yourself your chonies, and have at it. Okay, how do I end screen share?
Why am I thinking of like that scene from Back to the Future when she thinks his name is Calvin Klein?
Yeah. Oh boy. The things that I'll put myself through to do this show, I tell you. You know.
Oh, thank you. You already took care of it for me. You're awesome. Thank you. You know what? Though,
we're live on air.
he did that. Well, okay. You have to understand, he disappeared and then he comes back and he's got a full mask on. And I'm like, wow, that's a pretty good mask. And how did you put it on so fast? I had to know. And so finally he let me in on his secret. And I was like, wait a minute. I got a whole freaking drawer of those masks. My husband has like maybe 500 pairs of underwear. I mean, I could not wear the same mask twice for a couple years, possibly. You know, mine would be gray. Some of them are black, but yeah, it's fascinating. I thought it was awesome.
I don't think you could get by with a pair of tidy whities on your head. I just don't see that working out well for you.
The tidy whities wouldn't work. See, he has the boxer briefs on because of it. He's putting his head through the leg hole.
Right.
And the leg hole is what's going over his nose and around his head. So it fits perfect. And
make sure that, you know, that you don't get them out of the bottom of the hamper right before you go there.
I didn't ask. I just
you might be like, why does everything smell like ketchup?
Oh boy.
I'm just saying.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to end the show. Goodbye, everybody. Good night. No, but you know, I think we had a pretty good time here. It's been a good Cinco de Mayo night, which it's probably past its prime. I know it's past its prime in your area, Saji, but it's about to pass its prime in my area. We got a heck of a downpour going on here. But anyway, so I just
watch those murderous hornets away.
That's right.
Awesome.
But no, I just like to say thanks everyone for showing up and being here. Thank you, Michelle, for posting it on your however you did it. I appreciate that.
Oh, everybody helped bring everybody in.
Yeah, I think it was an awesome show. I know we didn't do one last week, and I didn't do a Shifty Sunday, and but this sort of like it grinded my gears what the information I was getting in. So it motivated me to do this show and to start doing lives again. So I just wanted to say that. So if anything, if any good came out of whatever was the bad, there was some good that did come out of it, and that was it. Me getting motivated to do the shows again. So just saying thanks everyone for showing up, and that's my final thoughts. You guys?
I want to say thank you for having me, and thank everybody. And Long Reach One, man, girl, you're killing me. You know, it's hard to be composed, and then oh gosh. But anyways, I'm already kind of giggly, and it doesn't take much to set me off. And these two can really make you laugh. So, yeah. So thank you very much for having me, Hebrew. Saji tomorrow night. Hebrew, I know we'll see you tomorrow night too. Because we're all one big family.
Mhm.
And don't worry, everything's going to be okay. Stay safe.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't really have a whole lot to say. Just try to keep your head up, stay positive. Don't succumb to the fear factory. The fear factory is like the monsters on Monster Incorporated. They get their power from making you scared. So don't let them have that power. And find somebody that you care about and call them and ask them how they're doing tomorrow. If you haven't talked to them in a couple days or a week or so. And thanks for having me on, Hebrew. I've enjoyed myself once again, and I think we've had a wonderful Taco Tuesday. And thank you, everybody in chat. I love you all, and good night.
And Cinco de Mayo.
And Cinco de Mayo.
And for everyone here at the Hebrew channel, this has been Hebrew77 saying, we hope you've had a happy Cinco de Mayo day, and we'll see you guys. Well, hopefully these guys see you guys on Wake and Activate channel tomorrow night, but I will see you guys on Shifty Sunday and maybe a Thirsty Thursday in between. Good night, everybody.
More margaritas, and wicked China. She loves a